Nope. What you have to do is you.
There, we're live. So, you're saying that you don't mind Halloween movies as long as it's what's scary.
No. I said that what I was saying was that when it comes to our conversation topics, I don't mind talking about anything, including random stuff, as long as there's a tint of scariness in there. I'm perfectly fine with non-scary Halloween movies. For me, all Halloween movies need to do is make me find some kind of joy out of them, whether they're scary or not. But if they're not, entertaining and they're not scary, then to me they're just bad, I guess.
Uh yeah, my favorite. Do you have a favorite like horror film?
Favorite? Oh man. I think my top three, no, my top two is the original Halloween, Child's Play, the first one, and Friday the 13th. I think I should
For
add
me,
it to that. I think I should
for
add
me,
it to that list.
yeah, for me, it's Evil Dead, and this one's a bit controversial, but the second one is Jeepers Creepers one. Like Evil Dead one and Jeepers Creepers one are my favorite horror films. Like I just like those for
Cool.
some reason.
Cool. Wow. Jeepers Creepers and what else?
Evil Dead, like Evil
Evil
Dead
Dead.
one is my favorite.
Well,
Evil Dead one.
Evil Dead is a classic. I mean, I kind of expect people to love that one. I like it. I don't love it, but I know why it's great. I know why it's iconic. It got a TV
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
I never checked it out though.
I
Sadly
watched
enough.
some of it. It was awesome. I watched some of it. It was awesome.
Oh, you did? Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It had I didn't like the cliffhanger ending of the series though, like mostly because it got canceled, which
Yeah.
sucks. Like that's the only problem with TV shows is they can get canceled real easily. This is why I prefer stuff that are like it has a source of income and it's going to get done, which is well, I don't know anything like this, but there's a chance it'll get done. But this is why I like web novels or web comics or fan fiction. I have less of a worry of that happening. Actually, no, with fan fiction that happens quite often.
You think fan fiction is predictable?
Not predictable, but the authors can be fickle sometimes. Like some days they just never do a chapter or a story again, and they leave and never come back.
Mm.
And I
Yeah, that's what sucks about fan fiction. The fact that, these guys just, they disappear. And if it's a really good one, it really sucks because it's like, okay, they're never going to continue this.
yeah, like one good example would be well, this is a story that would kill me if the author never finished. It's called Who I Am and Who I'll Never Be. It's a Red Hood story.
Yeah.
Where Batman kind of snapped and went really crazy for a while, and Jason's trying to teach him a lesson basically. And it's
Mm.
very angsty, I guess. I like it, but if it never got finished, it would kill me. Like I really like it.
Fan fiction wise?
Yeah, like I have one fanfic. I want to finish that one. It's called Fate Reconcile slash The Apocrypha of Elric Belmont. I want to finish that one before I die, or at least
Wow.
before I quit fan fiction altogether.
Nathan, you got a good while before you die, all right? I wouldn't even stress that.
Okay, but anyway, yeah. So yeah, but I hate it when shows get canceled, and that's what sucks about Ash versus Evil Dead. And now Bruce Campbell has retired from the role.
Well, it was only a matter of time.
Well, in live action anyway. He said he'd be fine with voicing the character, but not acting. Like he says, he can't do the acting anymore with the way his body is.
Yeah, I don't blame him. Honestly, though, an animated version, interesting but strange.
Yeah, I want to play the video game Evil Dead, but I like the first one because even though it had a low budget, I see what they were trying to do. Like you get that with the remake. The remake is what would the first one would be like if it had a better budget and
Yeah.
better actors, which isn't saying much because the actors for that first movie were decent in my opinion.
Mm. Hey, how do you feel about Sleepwalkers?
Sleepwalkers.
Yeah, you can look it up.
I'm not doing that right. Well, actually, no, I can do that on my phone. Never mind.
Exactly. Finally, Nathan, you're using your brain. Congratulations.
Shut up.
I love being an asshole.
Don't mind him, ladies and gentlemen. Dan is just the resident asshole.
I'm the resident asshole. Okay, there are much worse assholes that we know than me.
This is true. I'm one of them.
Yeah, good point, I guess. I mean,
Oh
dude,
my
I mean,
god!
I have to disagree with Phil. I don't see how you're mean. I mean, you could be, how should I say, blunt. You could be to the point, but how are you mean? I don't get that one at all.
I don't know, but here's something. Wait, does it have Stephen King in it?
Yeah, it's a Stephen King story movie as well, if I
I
remember.
I haven't seen it, and I have not read the book. It may or may not be based off of.
Yeah. Oh, dude. I was honestly shocked. I didn't actually think that I get any notoriety from Rob Paulson. That's super cool. Like,
Oh yeah, I was shocked. Like I got a vague idea who that is, but I was shocked when you sent that tweet. Like I was like, wow, blue check mark acknowledged one of the plebs.
well, the thing is about, Rob Paulson. He's a popular voice acting celebrity. He did a lot of you know, if you've watched cartoons, Nathan, you've probably heard his voice a number of times. The dude's a legend. Love his stuff and big fan. So honestly, growing up, it's like nostalgia and everything. So honestly, for me, okay, dude, I gotta say, I was just amazed, I guess, in many ways that he noticed me. Most celebrities, if you tag them, they don't really notice you.
Yeah, didn't you have the opposite reaction with Neil Gaiman?
Well, no, I wasn't mad. I need the reason why I didn't have the opposite reaction. I was neutral. I was like I said, I was a fan of Neil Gaiman, Nathan, at least a semi fan, because in recent years he's becoming more of a jerk. But when I tweeted him, all I did was like I basically talked to him. I was trying to convince him that fans that aren't a fan of race swapping aren't racist. I'm not saying that he had to, agree with them. I'm just saying that they're not racist. There's clear reasons why they're not okay with that. I'm not one of them. Race swapping and gender swapping doesn't phase me like most people, but honestly, I just wanted to defend others, and I tagged them. I sent him a thread with a convincing argument, and Neil Gaiman he sent me a reply. He said, "Please don't tag him ever again," in a tweet. I was like, "All right, dude, that's fine."
Yeah, that's what I meant by opposite reaction. By reaction, I meant this guy who added you, who quoted you today.
Yeah.
He was being an awesome dude. Neil Gaiman is a pretentious snob who is constantly redefined pretentious twat.
Well, yeah, Neil Gaiman is pretty pretentious, I'll admit. But honestly, I think the reason why Rob Paulson even responded to me was because my tweet was basically telling him how much I love his work. If I brought up the topics I brought up with Neil Gaiman, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have a joyful reaction either. I could be wrong, but I get the feeling I wouldn't.
Yeah, you're
So
probably right. Like, there's some
yeah,
people I wouldn't. There's some people I like. I would not want to meet in real life, just on the grounds of I don't want them to hate me. Like Dexter Soy, I love his art. I loved his art in the
yeah,
Red Hood Rebirth run.
yeah.
Who's another one? Clint Eastwood, I wouldn't want to meet either because I wouldn't want to risk him burning a bridge with me.
How would Clint
Especially,
Eastwood burn a bridge for you, dude?
I have no idea, but all my luck it's possible. Oh, Bruce Campbell, I would like to meet though. I would love to meet Bruce Campbell.
Dude, you have a less than likely how should I say this? Your chances of pissing off Clint Eastwood would be rare compared to your chances of pissing off a lot of other celebrities due to the fact that you both have similar thoughts. Well, not, completely the same, but similar thoughts in a similar range, if anything.
Yeah, maybe not. I have no idea, but yeah, like I would love to meet Bruce Campbell though because he actually seems like a funny guy, and I would love to meet him and Sam Raimi just to discuss like the what it was like for them creating Evil Dead and what their thoughts are and like what it takes to make a good story. I would just like to talk
Yeah,
about that.
that does sound fun. I
But
would
yeah,
like to meet Sam Raimi too. Honestly, I would have loved to meet all of them if I could, but it's been my dream as a kid. But honestly, the universe and reality just says, "Hey, Dan, fuck you," and just gets in my way. The only
that's
person at
reality.
this point, the only person at this point, Nathan, that honestly I need to meet at some point, is George Lucas. Like, I
I
don't
like that.
mind not getting the chance to meet the others as much as I like them, but George Lucas, I would love to meet. That'd be one of the best conversations in my life. Hopefully, I could be like, I don't know, a friend, because I don't know, man. He shaped my life. Unlike
Yeah,
most celebrities, that dude shaped my life in a way. Same with Christopher Nolan and Steven Spielberg. Those guys shaped my life. I would love to meet them most of all.
I would just like to meet George Lucas just to discuss like storytelling with him, like because he does something similar to what I do. He takes ideas from different places and just mishmashes them together in a Frankensteinian way, but does it in a better way.
Yeah, I adopted that too,
and I kind of respect that about him. But
so do I.
But yeah, Sam Raimi's actually kind of fucked up though. Like that Oldsmobile you keep seeing in the Evil Dead franchise.
Yeah.
That's Sam Raimi's car. Here's the fucked up part.
What is it?
Someone named
Nathan. There's something I want to show you. I'm going to see if I can present it. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, do you know someone named Moscow?
That's Z-Wolf.
Oh, hey, Z-Wolf.
Hey.
Hey, buddy. How you doing, man?
Good. You didn't send me the link to listen in, so I figured I'd be here, but I'm kind of like...
I was just wondering if you wanted to join.
I would have loved to if I wasn't working. Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, which reminds me, happy Halloween, dude.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
In the land north, it's the piss into the north. Kidding. But yeah, here's something fucked up about Sam Raimi, Dan. That Oldsmobile you see in the Evil Dead, that's his car, but he lost his virginity in it in the back seat. Here's the fucked up part. You ever heard the thought experiment of if you replace a part of a broom, is it the same broom?
Yeah.
Sam Raimi has replaced every part of that car over the years except for one part, the back seat.
Seriously?
Yeah, the part he lost his virginity in. I'm like, what the fuck, man?
That is fucked up, but maybe it means something to him. I don't know.
Or that's what I heard.
Guys, I have to step out. If you can send me the link to watch it from YouTube or from whatever other platform that you guys are broadcasting to, that'd be awesome. I'll listen in, but I just got to free up my mic in case work needs me.
Well, I mean, Z-Wolf, hey, Nathan, you can send them the link, right?
Yeah, doing it now.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thanks so much. I'll tune in from the other side.
Yeah, thanks, man, for making your brief appearance.
No problem. My pleasure.
Yeah, sending it now, Z-Wolf.
If you...
Yeah, that guy's awesome.
Yeah, there is another blah, blah, blah. Anyway, yeah, I sent him the link. So,
that's the video,
dude.
Huh? That's the video. I'm going to copy it and post it on so we could watch it if you want.
Yeah, I sent a link on Twitter, then I sent Z-Wolf a link. But, yeah, I just found it funny when I heard this because I'm like, wow, Sam Raimi is a fucked up individual if this is true.
No, he is. He is.
If you've got a hero, what you want to do is make him vulnerable. You want to say, we could kill this guy. So invest in his struggle because it's not one of these movies where he's just going to walk away. And when I said there's another, it basically signaled to the audience that I could kill Luke. And I killed Obi-Wan. So it's like, it makes it more exciting for the movie to say, well, let's watch because he may die in the end. But if you've convinced everybody in the nature of the movie and the way it works that it's Superman, he's never going to die, then it's much less interesting. If you've got a hero, what you want to...
Yeah. Interesting, right?
Yeah, it is interesting. But then again, the things you hear about behind the scenes of creating stories of these... Oh, wait, hang on.
I just love listening to... oh, hey, Bruce. Or Bats, or...
How's it going?
I just love listening to Lucas talk.
Oh, well, it isn't Red Hood's abusive dad.
Oh, really, dude?
I'm kidding. Christ.
Yeah.
That's no sense of humor.
The only... I know people like to make, like, parodies and jokes about how Batman's a terrible dad, but in reality, the only version of Batman in my head that's actually abusive is Frank Miller's All-Star Batman, which he said was a prequel to his Dark Knight Returns stuff. I have a hard time believing that, but whatever. Anyway, that's the only actual abusive Batman I can think of.
You have to read...
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, Batman, I don't think he's a bad dad. I think he has shitty situations that he finds himself in.
If you want to see a bad dad in Batman, read Batman War Games, because Batman is genuinely This was the mainstream continuity until New 52.
Right.
Batman was genuinely a terrible human being in those comics, and that from War Drums to War Games, Batman was a terrible human being.
Hey,
That was
Z-Wolf.
Hey, Z-Wolf.
that contributed to DC Comics' decline. That, along with several other stories that they were writing, making other characters just as terrible and just as horrific of human beings. Because that's not what you go to superheroes for. You don't go to a superhero to see Batman be a terrible father.
Okay.
Well, I think modern, I shouldn't say modern. I think dark DC, that's what I like to call it. The time when DC said,
And
let's make our heroes darker and edgier than they already are. I think around then they were playing with the concept of Batman, instead of like this humane, compassionate person, is inhuman in his search for his mission to
the other thing I was
save
going to say, if you want the world's worst father, he is also in DC Comics. That's Deathstroke. Deathstroke is the world's worst father.
Oh,
Is that because of what happened to Jericho?
That's because of what happened to all of his kids, as well as his wife, as well as any relationship connected to him. He's just not allowed to have a happy.
Got it pretty bad.
Oh, Bats. I don't know if you know about this, but there's a role player on Twitter named she plays Rose. I think Deathstroke's daughter.
Yeah, Rose Wilson.
Oh, you know about her? Okay, cool.
Yeah,
hey,
Rose,
Dan, get this image off the screen now, because I want to save room in case a fourth person wants to join.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, dude.
Oh no, that's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh, dude. I gotta ask, what did you think of it?
I thought it was good.
I just like looking at Lucas's mindset when he goes over the characters and everything.
Oh yeah, it's really interesting when you see the mindset of like these creative types. It's really weird. I like it, but it's weird.
Yeah. One of the things I love listening with George Nathan is the symbiotic circle, where he talks about in a spiritual sense that all life like needs each other to live, and that when certain groups just try to break off from that circle, the universe itself falls out of balance. It's like that's a very interesting look at it.
Z-Wolf, I'm pretty sure we saw your thing on Discord. I'm probably gonna go back and watch it again. If it's not on Rumble, because I can't use Rumble. I have no idea how to use it. I don't have an account there. But I do plan on watching it at some point.
should definitely make a Rumble account. Definitely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't you have to pay for that? Don't you have to pay for that, though?
I don't think
if you're streaming, all you need there's two criteria for streaming, and it's a terrible criteria, but I guess you got to have some barrier to entry. You have to have at least 100 subscribers or do a subscription. Those are your two options. And
I refuse. I'll just stick on Odyssey and BitChute and YouTube. I'll stick to those three for now.
Well, what you can also do is if you're still downloading, or if you download your recordings, you can upload them to Rumble. Again, to start building your Rumble audience. That's what I would suggest you do if you're not going to go the streaming route.
I tried doing that with Odyssey and it didn't work, but
Odyssey and Rumble both have a really weird extra step to their streaming process. And I follow Nick Rekieta. Nick Rekieta is trying to smooth out Rumble's deficiencies and stupidity, I'm going to call it. I'm censoring myself there because I want to use an R word and we're on YouTube.
No, go ahead. I use it all the time.
Yeah, retarded. Yeah, they definitely, like, Rumble and Odyssey have this retarded thing. I did an Odyssey stream the other day, and it was so weird how they do it. It's like, okay, you did your stream, and it's like, okay, did it upload? No, it didn't upload it. Well, why not? Like, what are you waiting for? Just upload the damn video. I'm done. I have nothing else I need to do with it. Just upload it. And if anything I need to do to it, I can edit it later. Like, what are you doing? Why are you adding this extra step?
I don't know, but I guess Z-Wolf is gone. But
yeah, he probably got called. Honestly, I also another person I like hearing their thought process is Bats over here. It's like the way he says things, just so direct. It's insanely direct. It's crazy.
Yeah, I tend to forget my thought process. Like I did this with Fate Reconciled, this weird thought process to where I remembered a lot of stuff I wanted to do for the few chapters. This is why I was able to do like 18 chapters in a cut from March to June.
Yeah.
But then I stopped and I lost all the thought process. Like it's really hard. You have to write all that shit down, I guess.
No, well, I mean, look, Nathan, when you're crafting any kind of story, always have notes.
Oh, I kind of have some notes. Like I researched a lot of Fate stuff, and I put the notes in that story. Like the first chapter was all the notes I had, so people could call me out if I got something wrong, and I could fix it later.
Well, I got two modes. There's analysis, where you just write everything down, to try to get an understanding of what you're trying to do. And then there is basically your quick notes, where you just write down all your relevant and important information that helps jog your memory.
Oh,
well, that's where you should take a page from J.R.R. Tolkien.
And yeah, I do the
page from Dungeons and Dragons, where you have an appendix, and I mean even the Bible does that, where it has an appendix that you're like, okay, what does this word mean? You go to that. George Lucas did something similar with Star Wars. I think Dune did the similar thing. I haven't read Dune, but one of my friends is a big Dune fan, and he's like, the first book of Dune is like just a bunch of history lessons in the Dune world.
Bats, you got to read Dune. You'll love it.
Yeah,
I think it's your kind of book, actually.
I have something similar where I write notes for the lore of the world. Like I did this with my fantasy story I want to do and my fantasy western. I have some notes for that, but for the western, it's not a history of the world. It's just on the languages and some of the characters. I haven't written down much of the lore for the history. I need to do that at some point. But like the stories like reference it, like they give vague information on the past. Like it references, like in the first Gunslinger story, it mentions the Mer being like, it references the heroes of the humans kind of being blamed for some Mer cults for the reason their civilization fell. They blame some of these human heroes. Like that references that, but that's it. Like it's very vague. But so I do that sort of like I did take that lesson from J.R.R. Tolkien. Like I barely read the Silmarillion, but I did take that lesson away from it, which is why J.R.R. Tolkien and Christopher Tolkien are my heroes, or at the very least why I respect them so much.
I wish you could have met them.
Oh, me too. I would just like to sit down with J.R.R. Tolkien and discuss languages with him. Like I would like his advice on it.
Honestly, though, it's interesting, I guess. When many people say that J.R.R. Tolkien didn't like Walt Disney or Disney at the time, I was like, there's a lot. I think these two would have in common in terms of creating and story. The way Walt Disney slaved away to make Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in his animation room when he barely had anything. It's like I kind of thought Walt Disney and Tolkien would get along, but apparently Tolkien just wasn't a fan of Disney at the time.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do? That's just the way the cookie crumbles, unfortunately, sometimes.
You know what sucks? Tolkien died in didn't he die? I believe he died in 1977, if I remember.
He died in the 70s, so
dude, he could have seen Star Wars. Could have.
I don't know. He might not have liked it. Like it's one of those things where you flip a coin to just how a thing can go. Either way,
it goes back to the cycle of storytellers, Nathan, that I told you about, where J.R.R. Tolkien made Lord of the Rings. Frank Herbert was a Lord of the Rings fan, so he made Dune. And J.R.R. Tolkien didn't like Dune. And George Lucas was a Dune fan, and he made Star Wars. And guess what? Frank Herbert didn't like Star Wars.
Oh yeah, you want to hear a reverse of that? Michael Moorcock, when he made the Elric saga, he actually met Tolkien. He was like one of these few people on Earth who actually knew him.
Yeah.
Like there's him and Christopher Lee.
Yeah.
And he actually did not like Lord of the Rings. Like he was more of a Conan the Barbarian fan. Like he was a reverse. Like some people compare his work to Lord of the Rings probably, or at least it's a fantasy type thing. But he wasn't a fan of Tolkien. Like not even in the slightest. Like he liked him as a person, but he just didn't think his work was that impressive.
I mean, I guess for some people, like George R.R. Martin, Lord of the Rings fan, he felt Tolkien was too old-fashioned, the traditional storytelling where the heroes come back and they win the day. Like he's done a couple interviews or something or events always trashing that. He likes to kill characters and he likes to make things grim and dark.
Yeah, this is kind of why I don't like him. As much as I like dark stuff, I sometimes think he's an idiot. Like he's an idiot, not that.
Hey, you want to know one of his inspirations, Nathan? One of them was a Marvel comic. It was when the Avengers met Wonder Boy, and Wonder Boy was like a spy, if I remember correctly, for the Avengers. But at the end of the day, he sacrificed himself for them. He decided to be a hero, and he died. And according to George R.R. Martin, that was like his inspiration for making, characters that don't have plot armor.
Oh, yeah. That's not too surprising. I think I heard George R.R. Martin was a comic fan, not a literature fan.
No, he was a comic fan. He said he grew up reading Spider-Man, and when he went to college, Peter Parker went to college. So he really connected with Spider-Man most of all, I guess.
Yeah, and the funny thing about George R.R. Martin, him and Michael Moorcock are friends. Like, there's a reference to Stormbringer in Game of Thrones. Like, that was intentional. Like, they're good friends, apparently.
That's cool.
Yeah, which is not that surprising because I think the first time I was introduced to Elric and Melda the Razorfist basically said, if you ever looked at Lord of the Rings and wonder how we got to the political quagmire of Game of Thrones and just wondered how we got from this to this, Elric and Melda Benet is the answer. It's like the bridge between the two.
The bridge between worlds.
Okay, Gollum, calm down.
Gollum, okay. I'm Gollum? Oh, that sucks.
Okay, Sidious, you're Sidious.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. But anyway, so I should probably change the name of the stream to something else later, but oh well. Anyway, yeah, so that is interesting. I think Michael Moorcock's also friends with Alan Moore.
Oh, really?
I try not to judge him for that. I really do. I try not to judge him for being friends with Alan Moore.
I mean, it may sound surprising, Nathan, but a lot of these artists and celebrities, a lot of them are friends.
Oh, a lot of the artists of my day probably aren't going to like me, which sucks because, like, as I said, if I met Dexter Soy, I would want to shake his hand for being so talented. If I met Michael Moorcock, I would want to shake his hand. Also ask him if he got teased the shit out of in high school for his last name.
Well, honestly, Nathan, it's all about how you approach it. I mean, if you take things from a civil stance, you'll likely be cool with them, personally.
Yeah, Alan Moore, he would be the harder one because it's like, on the one hand, I like Watchmen, or at least the movie. I still need to read the comic, but on the other hand, I kind of want to bitch slap him and Neil Gaiman for bitching about Steve Ditko, but oh well.
Look, at least Alan Moore's a fan of Steve Ditko. Like, he's a fan, despite not agreeing with him on, I guess, a worldview sense. He's still a fan. So even when he's like, I don't want to say trashing, even when he's disagreeing with Steve Ditko, he still respects him to some degree. He was a big fan of Steve Ditko and Jack Kirby.
Okay, real quick. Yeah, Zeal, I said I'm probably going to watch your short film again. I have to find out a site where it's on that's not Rumble because I can't use Rumble. I refuse to use it. On the grounds of I don't want to. I'm very lazy. But anyway.
On the grounds of being a bitch. I got it.
Wow.
Whoa. A bitch. Do I look like Neil Gaiman to you?
Well,
No.
technically...
But I'm like that excuse. Like,
yeah.
Look, Nathan, I'm telling you, okay? Once you taste freedom, taste it. Just taste a little bit. It's like steak on the tongue. Once you taste it,
I don't like steak.
nothing else.
I knew you were going to say that.
Better.
I hate steak. It tastes awful.
Okay, so I do not retract calling you a bitch.
Okay, you know,
I'm not a big steak eater, but I don't hate steak.
Yeah.
Oh, well, in that case, yeah, blow me for saying that.
Besides, Nathan, once you start eating steak more, it'll take away that bitch status.
Okay, I've had steak 2 or 3 times. Every time I vomited up. I've only been able to swallow it once.
Sorry, Nathan. The bitch status remains.
Look, I can't blame you if you have trouble swallowing, right? That's only natural.
Am I the only one who could eat steak without throwing it up?
I mean, it's not like I haven't tried. Like I've tried new things, and I usually end up regretting it. Like one time, I agreed to go on a rafting trip. My dad said he wanted to. Actually, I probably shouldn't say that on the internet.
Oh,
But yeah, let's just say it ended piss poorly for me. And
I understand things are a little difficult sometimes, and you're not quite sure which side the underwear should be facing.
ouch.
I wish I could strangle you right now. I'm joking, Christ.
Yeah, I wouldn't test it out. We're talking
We're
about
joking.
Batman
We're
here.
joking. We're all friends. It's okay.
No,
We're
my
talking
mom heard-
about Batman here, Nathan.
We're just
You
having
know-
fun. We're just
No, my
having
mom
fun.
heard me.
People
My mom
used to
heard
do
me-
that.
Oh
Yeah,
shit!
let me finish. My mom heard me say, and she's like, Nathan. I'm like, I'm
Oh.
joking.
Damn it! Ah, man, and live too. It's a good thing no one looks. Oh
Wait,
damn! Z-Wolf's calling you a communist.
hold
I'm
on,
telling
hold
you,
on,
but I'm
hold on.
telling
You
you.
can call me a lot of things, but I am no communist. If I had it my way, we'd all be thrown from a helicopter.
Wait a second, Z-Wolf. I'm not the biggest historian out there. I'm somewhat of one, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of communists that do like steak.
They do.
Well,
More reason to hate them.
I think Che Guevara, I think I heard he likes steak. I don't know how true that is.
Well, he did have a steak right before he snuggled a girl on the table in full view of people at a restaurant.
Why do people keep saying that? I mean, when people say
What?
struggle, snuggle, I think of
That's
like
because of YouTube. That's the only reason why. That's what I'm saying.
I
That's
can't
what
take
I'm
it
saying.
seriously.
I find
You
it
don't
funny.
understand
I find it
freedom.
funny.
Freedom is great. Freedom is good.
Mhm.
Freedom,
Man,
freedom,
it's meant to be
freedom,
free.
hoy. Freedom, 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 hoy.
And great. Now Bats is going to use this as another advertising pitch for Rumble. You might as well let them hire you at this point, dude.
Rumble, call me.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, like Rumble is watching this.
Yeah. You never know. Yeah, look, you never know who's connected to where.
Good point.
There could be a Rumble worker who's like, hey, I'm just going to be browsing the internet, talking about the comic books and film and movies and things like that. Oh, hey, here's a quaint little stream. You know, it gets away from all the nonsense I'm used to dealing with. And then it's like, hey, here's a guy who likes Rumble.
Dude, I love how your mind works. I really do.
His mind is more chaotic than mine.
No. I feel different. I think Bat's mind, it's organized, but it's like organized on a level that most people don't have. It's so technical but direct. It's crazy.
Okay.
like- You know what? It's like Sherlock Holmes. Like, and when I mean Sherlock Holmes, I mean like the BBC Sherlock Holmes, the one with Christopher. Benedict Cumberbatch. That Sherlock Holmes, kind of like that.
That's
Or-
a good compliment.
Or the Robert Downey Jr. version, which I love those movies.
Yeah, that's not a compliment.
Oh wow, okay. I
Put it
take.
out there. Americans don't know how to write Sherlock Holmes.
Damn it!
That's where
I
that's
should-
where I'm going with that.
I
Oh,
mean,
wow,
let's be
okay.
honest. Why would Americans be able to do Sherlock Holmes justice? Sherlock Holmes is a Brit. It would take a Brit to write another Brit and do it right.
No, it's more so American writers are dumb. Like that's really what it comes down to. Is they're just dumb. Like they think they have to dumb things down for the American audience. So it's like, okay, American audience don't want to think. They just want boom boom, guns, action. And
Wow.
Sherlock Holmes is intellectual. You know, it's
Yeah.
thing and then twist it, manipulate it. And, I mean, Watson's entire role is to be the everyday person looking at a thing and saying, yeah, it's very obvious, guns create smoke and the powder burns, and that tells you who fired the gun and what have you. And Sherlock Holmes comes along and says, right, but you're also missing other factors like why is there no bullet casing?
Okay.
And Watson says, well, it was obviously a revolver. And then Sherlock says, are you sure? What if it was a musket?
Oh boy. You know who's to blame for this? You know who's to blame?
Come on, Bats. I mean, there's Sherlock Holmes 2, The Great Game. I think that's more of what you're talking about.
Wait, hold up. You know who I blame on this dumbing down in America shit? The normies. I blame the normies.
Dude, okay. All
To an
right.
extent, you're right. To an extent. It's more so like mass marketing. It's marketing. That's all it is. It's the objective. I don't agree with this philosophy, but the premise is expand or die. That's a core fundamental of capitalism. So
Wait,
you
so-
expand
but-
by making your product numbed down and easier to access by everyone, rather than making your product accessible by the few who can actually appreciate and understand it.
Like
I know
exposure.
but the problem is normie. Like the problem I have with pursuing the normie audience is the normies. They need things dumbed down to such a pathetic, asinine extent. It makes the barrel of a gun look friendly.
I could pursue the normie audience. I could do that, but and for some projects I might do that, but for other projects I'd rather just go into deeper levels of crazy.
Oh no! Like let's say I'm doing Star Wars. I'm not pursuing the normie audience. Like I'm going dick deep into the lore and. Yeah,
You know who you should pursue down that road, Nathan?
Who?
The 12-year-olds.
See, here's the misconception. Here's where the entire economy is wrong. Okay,
Remember a Nambla?
you don't have to numb anything down. If you tell a good story, the dumbest people on earth can appreciate it, as well as the most intellectual people on earth can appreciate it. So that's where it's like it's a false concept.
Right. Exactly, like Inception. Well,
Yes.
I think Inception's pretty smart. No. Honestly, this is my opinion. I get the sneaking suspicion that the real reason why these producers and these corporate people in suits want to dumb down things when they market projects is mainly because they see it that if they can't understand it, then they believe that everyone else can't understand it, which is why they're going to get in the way of the artist who wants to go into a direction that they just can't understand.
This is why I hate the Bob Igers of the world, because they dumb everything down. They ruin creative. Like they get in the way of the creative process. They block. They are, I don't know, like a mental. They're like a block for getting shit done, just because it doesn't make sense to them. So therefore, no, we got to stop this train right here, and you're gonna do things I want to do it because I say so, because I'm the one with the money. And they're like Pinkertons.
Pinkertons?
Yeah, assholes.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, they're basically corporate mercenaries.
Yeah. I don't know. When I was a kid, I used to love everything, including the corporate people, because they were part of making it work. But over time, I've grown to just be disgusted by them.
Yeah, the only thing I do now is like I try to learn like the structures of how a story is made. I'm trying to learn the structure because I never learned it before. Now I'm enjoying it. Like I'm liking the flat arc structure. I'm liking the positive chain structure.
The positive change arc?
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot the name.
There's the flat arc, the positive change arc, and don't forget the negative change arc.
Yeah, and here's the funny thing. I still say Luke, he went through a positive change arc, then he became a flat positive character.
I mean, I guess Luke and Anakin, like to me, they're just positive or negative change characters. If you really want a flat character, in my opinion, Nathan, then you should look at Obi-Wan, because despite what he learns, despite all this stuff, he's like the same guy in all 6 films.
Yeah, a manipulative, cruel asshole.
Okay, I wouldn't go there, but it's like his methods are the same. They don't change. It's like a lot of people like to say after the.
I was gonna say, actually, Obi-Wan's a very interesting character, because in episode 1, he's not the same character in episode 2, and episode 2 isn't the same character in episode 3.
No, he's changed over time. But like I say, he's an asshole because he lied to Luke, and he says from a certain point of view, I'm just like you.
I mean, did he though, Nathan? Anakin did kill himself when he became Vader.
Okay, that's philosophical BS from me.
Well, he's a Jedi. That's what they do. It's all about philosophy.
I know. This is why I'm not so good with philosophy, even though I like philosophy. I'm good at it. Like this is why I want Socrates to be a Jedi, just so he could troll the shit out of every Jedi there, because they deserve to be trolled to death.
He would definitely be a maverick.
Socrates? Oh yeah, no, he would be a maverick. Like he'd be a wild card.
Right. I mean, what really sucks is that Maverick Jedi, they have so much potential, but since they don't, fall in line like say Windu or Obi-Wan, they can never claim council status.
Yeah. Who are you calling? What? I didn't call anyone scruffy. Oh,
I think that's a reference.
I know it's a reference.
Wait, so Bats, you didn't like the British, Sherlock show or the movies?
No. BBC Sherlock was great with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
That is. I like saying that Daredevil's a gold standard for like comic book
Right.
TV shows. BBC Sherlock is a gold standard for how to update source material for the modern audience.
Right.
It's a gold standard. Okay, it was created by the guy who plays a Sherlock Holmes' brother in that show, and he is a huge Sherlock Holmes fanboy.
Getting it?
And I don't know his name, but he is a huge Sherlock Holmes fanboy, and it shows in how he is loyal to the source material. Now, having read some of the book, I haven't read all of Sherlock Holmes. I haven't finished it, but from what I have read and from the translations of the show to the book, it was really well done. It's very well done. It's like, okay, they changed several things, but they also they maintained, like, they basically updated names, but the core central story is still there. And that's why it's good. That's why it works. That's why people love it, because they're like, wow, these stories are great. Yes, because they're based on the original writing. They didn't just say, hey, we're going to make up our own stuff and say completely hell with the source material.
Bats, look.
You know what's funny about Sherlock Holmes, though? It has something in common with Tolkien. Both of those works have such a strong fanatical fan base that you have scholars that study both of them.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just like how astronauts and scientists are Star Wars and Star Trek fans.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Yeah. Like Tolkien has scholars, and I'm just like, I envy that. I will never have that level of renown. I wish I could be that creative.
Oh, Bats, look, you inspired Z-Wolf to get to open Rumble.
No, I know. I was encouraging him. Like, do it.
Yeah.
If you're trying to grow, okay, just a social media creator, be everywhere. Everywhere. Twitter, BitChute, Gab, everywhere. Mine.
That makes sense.
Be everywhere, because somewhere you're gaining an audience. Somewhere someone is finding out about you and learning about you that they didn't know otherwise.
Yeah. There's only one downside to BitChute. It's very anti-Semitic, and for some reason they think I'm a Jew.
I think I could be wrong.
That sounds like a bunch of trolls, and you just
they're
roll with
you.
it. If they're gonna call you a Jew, just roll with it. Be like, "Yep, well, that's just who I am," and just go with it. Like,
oh no, I went back to some videos on there recently. I ended up getting like 19, 20, 20, like 4 new subscribers after I went back to putting stuff on BitChute.
No, this is why I say I would never call someone a racist online, because it's like, and I think I've said Bats, I've told Bats this before. It's like, I don't know this person. I don't know who they are. This is our first interaction. I'm probably never going to meet them ever in my life. And I think I can just, all of a sudden know who they are based on what they do on the internet. It's like, I don't know what they do in their lives. So that's why I say, dude, that even though you think, that's anti-Semitic, I think you're just being trolled, man.
Bro, oh no, I just gave up because every time I would do that, I just was getting no feedback. I was just getting views, almost no likes. It felt pointless.
Nathan, word of advice: if you ever post anything on the internet, especially stories, expect to have hecklers.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I got into where I was I've become apathetic. Like on Odyssey, I get no comments. I've only gotten one in my entire time being there in the past year. On YouTube, I get more comments, and they are usually encouraging. It's very rare that I get anyone shit talking me. Pretty rare.
Probably because that's because YouTube is. I'm sorry, this guy might be talking in the background here. Yeah, that's because YouTube is catering to a pussy audience.
Oh my
That
god.
they're catering to. It's like, oh yeah, that's part of
Unfortunately,
why struggle snuggle is a thing. You got to use baby talk. You can't be a freaking adult.
oh
Who
no,
would say this shit to babies?
Wait, hold up. I use the word struggle snuggle because I find it funny. To me, it sounds funny.
Look, I just got done going out with my niece and nephew, and I'm trying to have a conversation with my brother. And the entire time, the topics we're trying to talk about, we're tiptoeing and tap dancing around actual adult topics because we're around kids. We're sitting at a dinner table and we're just talking about stuff we usually talk about, but we have to monitor what we're saying very consciously, and that's YouTube. YouTube, you have to monitor everything you say, even though we're saying things right now. 6 months from now, YouTube could say, "Nope, you violated the terms of service, and you're out."
Yeah,
Just like
see,
that.
Z-Wolf gets it. Z-Wolf gets the point. That's I get your point though, Mr. Bat cosplayer. Yeah, it is asininely annoying, but that's not why I do it. I do it because I find it funny. Like I'll use other words like sometimes I'll say we should purge all political parties, Stalinist style.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind that.
I mean,
I don't want
at that. You're looking at that like, oh, it's harmless, right? But you're all it takes is some cuck who's like, oh, we know what he means, and then they start tweeting about it, and then YouTube bans you, or they start mass flagging you, and then YouTube bans you. And you don't get a fair trial. It's like, make no mistake, there is no fair trial. It's not like a human being reviews it and says, oh yeah, obviously it's satirical. The person reviewing it doesn't know the law, so it's not like he's like, oh, it's perfectly harmless that he said any of this. It's like there is no actual threat to anyone, but YouTube's like, no, we have to get rid of him. Like he's now become too much of a danger to society. We have to silence him, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, to hell with that. I'm not playing that game. It's like you go to the arcade, you play the games, and you see the ones that are hacking and cheating, and it's absurd. You can't just win them. That's part of why I don't like side scrollers, 2-player side scrollers. But okay, so you do it, or crane games. Crane games are another great example. You do the freaking crane game, and they're rigged. All of them. Every single crane game is rigged. So it's like, okay, why would you even participate? Don't wait. Just save your money. Don't play. There's no reason to be involved in that. And
honestly, that was my approach to lottery tickets. Everyone was scratching. It was like, you're not going to get any money. I don't know why you keep playing. It's pointless.
Okay. Well, back to the main point of the stream. Bruce, do you have a particular favorite horror film?
No, I am not a horror guy, unless you count like The Nightmare Before Christmas. I don't think that's actually a horror film.
I'm pretty sure that's like a horror comedy.
That's like Halloween and a Christmas movie for me. I consider it both. Okay, well then.
Yeah, I'm not a big horror guy. I don't really have any interest in horror. Horror is just like lame to me. Like it's not interesting. It's not fun. It has some. Well, I shouldn't say not interesting. It does have. Well, you know what? Now I'm thinking about it. No. So my favorite horror movie would probably be Alien or Predator. Take your pick. I don't care.
I'm pretty sure those are like sci-fi thrillers. Are those horrors? Maybe they are. I don't know.
Alien is horror.
I would say Alien is, yes.
Yeah.
Predator is kind of a horror. Like it's kind of like suspense and thriller with horror, I would assume. But I'll accept that. I can accept that.
Hey Nathan, I got a question for you.
What?
If the rule you followed has led you all the way here, then what was the point of the rule?
Okay, what gay shit are you talking about now?
Seriously?
I'm joking. I have
no
idea.
Country for Old Men, dude. Sugar.
I never saw that.
That's what he says before he shoots Woody Harrelson. It's like, if the rule you followed led you to this, then what was the point of the rule? I'm still thinking about that line to this day.
Oh, let me think. What's a good movie line I remember? No, can't think of one right now. Like not off the top of my head, anyway.
No, you need Keegan for that. He can remember lines like completely. He doesn't have to paraphrase.
Oh no, sometimes I'll use lines from like you know how in some books it begins with a quote.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like to do that. Like I remember there was this one line by Boba Fett I wanted to use in a bounty hunter story. It was, "You can run, but you'll die tired."
That does sound cool.
I mean,
That's
it's
a
kind of
common line. That's said at a lot of places. It's even said in Killing Floor.
Oh,
yeah, like, and it fits Boba Fett pretty well. Like Boba Fett is like the Predator. It does not matter how far you run or where you go, you are fucked. He is going
is
to
it
find
weird? Is it weird to say Boba Fett doesn't scare me?
I mean, no, if you were in the same room with him, you would probably be pissing yourself. Like he fucks people up.
A lot of people aren't intimidated by Boba Fett because they know about Boba Fett. Whereas in lore, if you are dealing with Boba Fett, he is definitely a force to reckon with.
Right.
Because he is one cunning son of a bitch, but also in lore, he manipulates and uses different techniques to strike fear into his enemies. So he catches them off guard. He builds up this mythos of who he is.
Yeah, he's very like I would not like to be locked in a room with him. Like he would kill me in probably one of the worst possible ways.
I mean, if you don't
Boba Fett in lore, people aren't sure if he's human.
Right.
All right, they aren't sure.
He rarely takes off his helmet, so of course it's like Goblin Slayer. Like
it's not just that. It's not that he doesn't take off his helmet. That's a part of it. But the other part of it that he's very conscious about is he acts very robotic. He intentionally acts robotic to seem more and more less human. He talks the way he talks. Part of why you don't have a lot of this prolific speech from Boba Fett is that the way he talks is very matter of fact, very direct, very robotic, very cold, and with no emotion. That's by design. It's to build his reputation, to build this aura of fear. So when someone goes to deal with him, they don't mess around. And that's why he will call people out if they're bullshitting him.
So he's like Goblin Slayer and Solomon Kane, basically.
What is it with you and Goblin Slayer? Like seriously?
Well, this is kind of like Goblin Slayer because like he rarely takes his helmet off. Also, actually, not even rarely. He's only ever done it once in the series. And that was because High Priestess asked him to. And when everyone saw he did, they freaked out. Like, holy shit! Orc Bull took his helmet off. It's the same with Boba Fett. If he took it off, people were like, holy shit! The most scary man in our universe. Well, second most scary man in our universe took his helmet off.
Right.
I mean, next to Darth Vader, he's the second scariest son of a bitch out there.
Wait. To you mean? You think he's like the second most scariest person? For me, it's Palpatine. Like, it's like, okay, Maul, Vader, and Boba Fett. It's like, yeah, sure, they can be scary, but for me, it's Palpatine. Palpatine actually scares me.
Oh yeah, no, I take it back. Boba Fett is the third scariest. Palpatine is the scariest. Next is Vader. But I think Boba Fett's kind of creepy for me because he earned Vader's respect, or it's implied he has. Like he singles him out at one point and says no disintegrations. So he's had this one before.
It's often implied that Boba Fett. It's often implied in the EU. It was because he disintegrated some, but there's a theory. There's a pretty big fan theory that Boba Fett's the one who killed Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, and and that's why that house looks disintegrated. And then when Vader says no disintegrations, he must have wanted them alive. But that's just a theory.
That would be fucked up, but also
I know, right?
But that doesn't really sound like his MO. Like Boba's modus operandi is usually he either beats the shit out of you and brings you in mangled but alive, or he shoots you once and calls it a day.
But I don't get it. Why the hell would Boba Fett want to kill like random citizens of not citizens, but random farmers on Tatooine?
I think the theory makes more sense if it involves like he was hired to help look for the droids, and then this led him to Luke's house.
Right.
And then they couldn't give him the information he needed, so he unalived them. He blasted them to hell.
Well, yeah, it's like if he couldn't get the information from them, if he left, I don't think anything would have happened. They don't really have a government there.
Well,
With the Huts.
I think there was one comic where Vader told the troopers to kill them. Like he insulted them via comm link before he had them shot, like saying, "You really should." I guess you haven't learned anything in these past couple of years. And his uncle and aunt were like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Isn't that in the EU?
I think so. Like, I think I
Yeah.
heard that Vader always blamed his step relatives for his mother's death. So when they found themselves the prisoners of clone troopers, he had no problem having them executed. Like, he already hated them before that. Now he had an excuse to kill them.
Right.
So if Boba Fett was there, I can see him doing it on Vader's orders because Boba Fett is a cold motherfucker who will kill you if he benefits from it.
You're funny, man.
I'm sorry, like I like Boba Fett. He's my second favorite character in Star Wars, but he is a cold-blooded, stone-cold killer. I would not want to piss him off. I mean, am I wrong?
No. You're right. I don't know. For me, I prefer Jango Fett and Cad Bane. Like those two are my MO when it comes to the bounty hunters. They just have an interesting vibes.
Yeah, but I think Boba kind of surpasses Cad Bane for me because he killed Cad Bane. I mean, he got lucky.
Yeah, he did. Well, yeah, he did surpass him. When Jango Fett died, Jango Fett was like the biggest bounty hunter in the galaxy. But when he died, Cad Bane took his place, and then when Cad Bane died, Boba Fett took his place. Also, I hear that Cad Bane mentored Boba, or at least that was an early concept. So
he was supposed to. Unfortunately, someone at Disney or Kathleen County fucked it up. They canceled the show. They went on a mass canceling spree. And we never got that, which I will never forgive them for. They need to make that into a movie.
I honestly prefer the early. I honestly prefer the Clone Wars season 7, the early animations of Jango of Boba killing Cad Bane than what they did with the Book of Boba Fett. That fight was embarrassing.
Well, oh yeah, that's right. They killed Cad Bane. That was stupid.
I mean, the way he died. I don't mind that he gets killed. It's just the way he died. It was so stupid.
Yeah, that was stupid.
Yeah, it's like Jon Favreau. He wrote every episode. I love Jon Favreau. It's like that. Honestly, I've never been more disappointed in Jon Favreau.
Oh, well, now you know how Cat feels.
Oh, wait, Cat's a Jon Favreau fan?
No, but he's always disappointed with people. Like, he's waiting to be disappointed. Like, you should have learned this lesson from Cat. Always expect disappointment.
Yeah, I it's not that I don't, it's that I try to reject it. Being disappointed.
Hey, guys, I have to take my dog out real quick. Can y'all talk while I'm not here?
Okay.
All right, be right back.
Yeah, I in my experience of role playing as Boba Fett, it's amusing because you get people who have no respect at all for Boba Fett, and that's mainly because they don't know anything about Boba Fett, other than he's just a glorified green stormtrooper,
right?
And it's like, well, in universe, you should be absolutely terrified of Boba Fett because you got to see Boba Fett have a jetpack malfunction in one episode of Star Wars. Okay, you got to see that jetpack malfunction, but that's like everywhere in Star Wars. Those jetpack malfunctions happen all the time, and it's not. When I say that, I don't mean just the jetpack. I mean weapons, etc. Star Wars tech isn't the best. It has all kinds of faults and difficulties and mistakes within it, and that's a part of, like, if you maintain your equipment, you're good. But if you're on Tatooine, you're not going to get to one of the core worlds to brush up and clean your equipment, get brand new batteries for the blasters. You're not going to have possibly the best cleaning equipment. And so, like, most bounty hunters in Star Wars don't have the best equipment.
Yeah.
So that's a part of that whole scene on Jabba's sail barge is showing that, hey, these are all this whole ragtag team of rough and tumbles and miscreants, all of them, they don't have nice, clean, pristine armor. And then you're contrasted to the thug life to the highly regimented, well-polished empire,
Yeah.
which have a really polished, like these nice Death Star floors that are nicely polished, these sleek Star Destroyer floors, these sleek panels and sleek control operations. Like it's a clear contrast of the two different worlds that are in Star Wars.
I mean, the Empire has all the resources at the time, so it makes sense why they would have the best.
Yeah. And so, like, when you take someone like Boba Fett, he doesn't work necessarily like if you were to ask Boba Fett which would he take, this is more in the gun sphere of things. If you were to ask him which gun would he prefer, an AR-15 or a AK-47, he would take the AK-47 because it's reliable, it works, you can drop it on its fucking head and it would still work. Okay, where the AR-15 might have issues, it might have problems. You have to maintain it, you have to baby it. It loves to be treated like a lady. Well, to look at that, it's like, okay, you went through this whole process of babying and coddling the thing, and if you drop it, if your enemy shoots you in the hand or whatever have you, well, now you have a defaultive weapon that's absolutely freaking useless.
Really?
Yeah, if we're going to be talking Star Wars, I need to change my icon.
Dude, does it really make a difference?
Yes, I like to change icons based on what's being discussed.
I thought about giving myself a profile image, but then I thought, nah, I'm going to be like this. I'm going to be anonymous.
Yeah, I have one for every type of subject matter per stream. So, like, if a stream's about fantasy, I have. Hang on. If it's for fantasy, I have this one. If it's for cyberpunk, I have this one.
Does all your profiles have a character frowning?
Not this one. You technically can't see the face.
Darth Revan, yeah.
Oh, here's one that's not frowning.
I mean, okay. I guess I can give you that.
Yeah, I like people with serious faces. I have no idea why.
Well, you're into anti-heroes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mhm.
Anyway, that makes sense for Django to pick that rifle because, like, the AK-47 is reliable. Like, you can get mud and water in it.
Django, Boba Fett. Django would take the AR.
Oh yeah, Boba would because the AR is more reliable. Like, I remember Deadliest Warriors had an episode where they put mud and dirty water in an AK-47. It still worked.
Yeah, and the same is true. Like, if you were to use a Mosin Nagant, Soviet era Mosin Nagant, those things are rough and tumble, and when you shoot them. I just recently shot one. That's why I'm bringing it up. When you shoot them, you have to make them your bitch, because if you don't, it will make you its bitch.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and here's the thing: that AK-47 really didn't matter in the long run because the IRA still won. Go IRA! Oh crap! I just rode for a terrorist organization. And
oh man, I'm loving this.
But the point is that Boba Fett prefers the reliability, where Jango Fett is a part of why Boba Fett prefers the reliability, is because Jango Fett had all these great little gadgets and gizmos that were pristine and very fancy and very nice, but under the worst circumstances, they would fail. In Tales of the Bounty Hunter, have you read that one, Nathan?
It's on a list of things I need to get.
Okay, I'm not going to do too big of a spoil because this is like at the very start of Boba Fett's story in that book. He has to take on a guy who has this most sophisticated security network system. And he's out in the middle of the desert. So Boba Fett's solution for this is, I'm going to strip down naked, no armor, no equipment, nothing. I am literally butt naked. And my weapon is a spear, a wooden spear with a sharpened tip. I'm not so sure about if it was a wooden spear, but it was a spear with a sharpened tip. Okay, and that's how he killed his bounty. That's how he got his bounty at the end of that story, or at the beginning of that story. And it's a dedication to his craft. Okay, Boba Fett, and the spear is one of the most reliable weapons in human history. Okay, it's one of the most efficient weapons in human history, trumped by the sword. But again, like that's the genius of Boba Fett. He was like, okay, I can't take a rifle in there. I have to use a primitive source of weapon. I can't take a dagger. I don't want to take a dagger because I think the creature itself was this big, like elephant like dude. So it's like, okay, I need a spear to just get in, stab him, and get out. Whereas a dagger, if I have a dagger in there, then I'm going to be wrestling and I'm way too close. It's way too dangerous. I can't win against this guy in a strength battle.
Okay.
But again, if I don't see Jango Fett doing that. I don't see Jango Fett taking on that type of mission. I don't see Jango Fett saying, yeah, I'm going to do that. Now, I'm not a big Jango Fett fan. So, if someone is a bigger Jango Fett fan and they know Jango Fett's style, feel free to chime in and say, oh, yeah, Jango Fett has done something like that.
I'm a Jango Fett fan, but I'm not a Jango Fett expert. Like, I don't know everything about him.
I don't know everything about Boba Fett. I just know,
yeah,
I know bits of information from, what I've collected over the years.
Right, yeah.
Django struck me as the kind of guy, like, he had a code. One was be willing to go anywhere and do anything. So I think maybe he would have, maybe. I'm not as well versed in the lore, so I could be wrong here, but I could see him, like, he was willing to follow someone with a rifle, not kill them, just sneak around and do things that were needlessly hard. And this isn't a video game, mind you.
Was this Star Wars The Bounty Hunter?
Yeah, it was a pain in the ass.
Oh, really? I remember loving that game.
I liked it, but I was trying to get all the bounties.
Right.
Because I'm a completionist. But anyway. So, yeah, it's a pain in the ass, but fun. I wish that if anyone told me I could remake any game with a competent team that wasn't ideologically focused, I would say, yeah, remake Bounty Hunter or finish 1313, Crom, damn it.
Yeah, from my understanding, I didn't play Bounty Hunter. That's on my to-do list. I think I have it. I don't have it installed, but I have it in my library. But that's a game that I would like to play. I heard it's really good, and
it's fun, but I can't play it anymore because I can't install it now.
Well, like just seeing Bruce Wayne with a whole fucking library, and then you see Jango Fett, Star Wars The Bounty Hunter in there.
Yeah, I can go back to play the Force Unleashed games. I went back to play that. It's still fun. The controls are a bit wonky.
Honestly, for me, it's the Disney Star Wars Battlefront games. I have a hard time playing those, especially when it comes to dueling. I'm like, that's why those are my least favorite. I prefer older Star Wars games.
The first one was a Soulless. The second one I didn't get to play because by that point EA kind of pissed me off one too many times.
I'm sorry, Bats. Did you say something? I didn't hear you.
No, I was agreeing with you. The older Star Wars games are way, way better.
Yeah.
Story-wise, they're better. Battlefront is funny enough. That's the worst of the older Star Wars games.
Oh, you mean the old Battlefront, right? Not the EA one.
Yeah. Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2. Again, that's also another stupid thing that EA/Disney did. It was, we're going to release Battlefront.
I can't give
two. What are you doing?
I'll give Disney Star Wars this, Bats. At least they got Luke Skywalker right in Battlefront 2, I think.
How'd they get him right?
I didn't play, so I don't know.
You know what, Luke? He basically he was working with an Imperial pilot, if I remember correctly, and Luke was able to convince the Imperial pilot that the Empire was wrong. And the Imperial pilot in the last moments they worked together, he helped Luke look for a Jedi artifact. But the Imperial pilot was like, so what should I do now? Join the rebellion? And Luke says, you don't have to join the rebellion. You just have to be a good person. That was
you mean the new Battlefront?
Yeah, the new Battlefront. That
Yeah,
scene was beautiful.
I did remember seeing clips of that. I didn't watch the whole clip because I was not interested. But yeah, I heard about that.
That's Luke Skywalker. And every
Yes.
time I look at that, I'm like, how do you have this and this at the same fucking time?
It's likely because they had gamers writing it, and
Yeah.
gamers understand, the hero's arc. They understand.
Oh,
how to
wait.
be that
You can
hero.
use the word gamer anymore. Apparently, that's not kosher, I guess.
I don't care. They can suck my dick.
Good.
Wow.
Good. Yeah, that's the response I wish more people had. I'm like, I'm going to use the word gamer all I want because I am a gamer. I like games. I'm a gamer. If you have a problem with that, there's a cliff. Feel free to walk off it.
I could have been a gamer, but sadly, thanks to fucking middle school, it prevented me from going there.
What? How did it prevent you from going there?
I already told you this story, Nathan. They kept giving me homework. I had to carry 5 fucking textbooks in my backpack, and I had to walk from school to my house. I didn't have time for games.
Oh, I had plenty of time for games. I thought you were talking about the time all those girls beat the shit out of you.
Dude, why do you keep bringing that up?
It's funny.
Were they hot?
No, I was helping a friend, and I made a stupid choice by. Well, they were going to attack me. Well, they attacked me anyway.
But were they hot?
Dude, I don't fucking know. It was a fight.
But were they hot? That's
don't
the
know.
important thing.
Probably not.
Like you can
Honestly-
settle being beaten up by girls, but if they're hot, then it's worth it.
It worth it? Yeah. Fighting 10 girls because someone said something stupid. That's definitely worth it.
No, what your friend said was not stupid. It was funny. Those girls just didn't have a sense of humor.
Why? Because he said the same shit you said? And like I said, this guilt by association shit is not fair. Why the hell did I have to get the shit beat out of me for what he said?
No, I have a better question. Why didn't you aim for their throats?
I'm sorry, what?
I have a better question. Why didn't you aim for one of their necks? Like, if you're going to go down, you might as well
Gee, I'm sorry, Nathan. I was too busy dodging fucking sticks and pipes being hurled my way.
Yeah, listen, as a guy who I literally stood by and got my ass kicked, to two younger kids, I was like, I had the choice of I could kick the ever living shit out of these 2 little kids, or I'd kick the shit out of them and then have the older brother who's standing right there looking at me, waiting for an excuse to kick my ass, or I could just let the 2 kids beat me up, and then the older brother doesn't have to do anything. And I got the last laugh because afterwards, when I walked home and my mom saw me with a bloody nose, she was like, "Who did this?" And I had to take her right to the kid's house. And it was great. It was absolutely fantastic. It's justice.
Justice.
It was justice because my mom spoke to his mom, and she grilled the shit out of those kids. Like, it was fantastic. I was so happy. And that a part of why I don't believe racism exists, because I saw these kids, they were beating me up because I was white. Okay. That was they were black. I was white. That was their issue. But then at the end, okay, and they're beating me up over my black friend choosing me over them.
Yeah.
So then when I saw my mom, a white woman, talk to their mom, a black woman, and they had the same idea. They're both like, this is wrong. You are kids. You shouldn't be beating each other up. You should be playing games together. There is no reason for this type of behavior. It was like, okay, so this isn't a race thing. This is just they don't like me. That's what it came down to. There was no race involved. It was just simply they didn't like me. They had no idea how to articulate they don't like me. It's that simple.
Well, there are certain things that are true to humanity, Bats.
Oh, yeah, I would say, maybe this was actually, you know what, never mind. That's a poor joke I was about to tell.
A poor joke?
Yeah, there are moments where I see a bad joke a mile away and I'd stop myself in the middle of telling it.
Yeah, like I said, dude, just try not to say any joke that gets the shit beat out of us or possibly killed.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, I do not discriminate against women. I like all women equally as long as they're moderately cute. Like, they can be black, white, Middle Eastern, redheaded. I really don't care. They just have to be moderately cute and not be bitches.
Fuck you, dude. Those very words got me. Honestly, I don't even try to remember that shit. Damn it.
Worth it. It'll be worth it.
You and Rick are basically clones of each other. If both of you didn't, if he didn't say that shit, honestly, I would have had a great Wednesday. But no, I had to get the shit beat out of me with lead pipes and sticks just to save his life.
I've never been happier.
Every time you say that, the memories come back.
Yeah, Bruce, you should hear this. He says they're gonna string us up one day, and when they do, I'm gonna blame you for it while it happens. I'm gonna wring your neck while they hang us. I'm like, worth it.
No, I won't have I won't have the time to wring your neck when they hang us. I'll be too busy being killed. I'll blame you when we're dead.
I mean, I tell you all the time, just throw me under the bridge like I don't know, a black guy after he gets caught having sex with a white woman.
Dude, I honestly I don't know if it's something in me, but if anything, that situation with my friend has shown me that I can't just leave people to die.
It's easy. You turn, you about face, and you walk away. It's real simple.
Nah, dude, I'm gonna see your image everywhere if that happens for the rest of my life.
Oh no, if they come after me, I'm probably gonna try to hit one of them. I mean, I can't hit anyone, but I will try. Like, I'm a firm believer in equal rights, equal fights.
Yeah, so am I, dude. But quite honestly, I mean, we gotta be there for each other for friends, right?
Be right back.
We're suddenly turning this into a Pokemon episode, I see. Or
Well,
Digimon. Take your pick.
I mean, unless the feds are after you or the CIA. In that case, you're fucked, dude. I'm not getting involved.
That's the spirit. Even though that's not the
right.
spirit. That's not the spirit. Fuck the feds.
Wow.
Cops aren't your friends.
No, there's Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, there is Commissioner Gordon. He's the exception.
Oh.
All right, I'm back.
I know technically he isn't like straight, but Harvey Bullock seems like a good cop too.
Okay, so what are y'all talking about?
In the feds and cops aren't your friends, except for Jim Gordon. Jim Gordon's a good cop.
Yeah, he's a good cop.
Jim Gordon is the only cop. Him and Harvey Bullock are the only cops I would trust.
No, there's several cops you can trust, but like you have Renee Montoya, you have as much as you might not like him, Crispus Allen. Who else is there? Jason Bard. He's another one.
Yeah.
There's several that you can trust that are good people, but there's also, there's more bad cops. Statistically, there are more bad cops than there are good cops. That's just statistics. And I know it's very unpopular to say, but that's just, hate to say it, that's just how it is.
Don't worry, dude. YouTube approves of this anti-cop message.
I don't half the time. Other half of the time, I'm like, I don't give a shit. Say what you want.
I don't give a shit. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of conservative friends, and I'm a conservative.
Yeah.
I'm center right. I'm middle of the road with a right slant, so it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, but so it's like that's where I am on things, and I have to constantly remind my right wing fellows, hey, you guys are throwing into bed with these cops, and these cops will sell you out at the earliest convenience.
Exactly.
That's just their nature. It's what they'll do.
Exactly. Like, how many of them stood on their asses with their thumbs up their asses while cities burned?
Wait, you mean this was during those protests, I should say?
Yeah, the riots carried out by burn, loot, murder.
Okay, got it. Yeah. I think.
Well, what you were saying a moment ago, it's like, how many cops sat by and did nothing? That's not quite out of their power. It is, but it isn't. Okay, that's in the purview of the commissioner. That's in the purview of the DA and of the mayor. Okay, that's in their purview. That's their whole shtick. Okay, but
Yeah.
but if all what happened with Alex Stein just the other day, okay, you can see that it doesn't matter if it's a right wing or a left wing person. These people, they will what's it called? They get in these positions of power and authority, and they feel entitled. They feel like, hey, I'm. You have to respect my authority.
Okay, Eric Cartman.
Wow.
Yeah, I watch South Park too often, so I know that reference.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is. But yeah, no, like if I was in Gotham and you told me I had to trust a cop, I'd be like, okay, unless it's Harvey Bullock or Dent, or well, not Dent, Harvey Bullock, Commissioner Gordon, or Name Montoya. Unless it's those three, I'd rather take my chances with the criminals. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I mean, look, honestly, I'd rather deal with GCPD than the criminals because the criminals are either A, psychopaths, or B,
There's another. I don't recall if he is a Gotham police officer. He might have been in one timeline or another, but Jim Corrigan's another one. Jim Corrigan is Dirty Harry or Harry Callahan as a Gotham City police officer. Or as a
Really?
police officer. So yeah, if you've never checked out any of the Spectre comics, you would like them, Nathan. I'm telling you. Hey, this Jim Corrigan guy, he knows what's up. Because the law is like, oh, you have to do things by the book. And Corrigan's like, this guy just did some very terrible things to a kid. And I understand the law wants him to go through a process and have due justice, his day in court. You know what? It's very unfortunate that accidents happen all the time to police officers on duty in the worst neighborhoods. It's a shame that it happens. And, well, I'm sorry that this criminal was just found in an alley. It's really a shame. That's Jim Corrigan. He's an absolute fucking badass.
Okay, hang on. I have to change the title of this stream now.
Then you make the title like very generic, like Halloween movies, Star Wars.
I made Arkham Hangout 6 random.
Okay. Yeah, it just seems weird. Like I would just go like the Ricado route of just saying, me and my friends talking about some things. It's just so vague, so all encompassing, and someone wants to enjoy it, they can stop by and hear people talk about things.
I will talk about the story I'm working on, but I figure we have better things to do. So
you can talk about your story. You can bring that on. Bring out something new.
Oh, it's a Star Wars story, so nothing new.
Oh, rip. Let that be.
No, the original stuff I don't talk about on YouTube. I keep that to myself till it's ready for publishing.
That's probably smart.
Yeah, I don't want to get plagiarized. I'm like Michael Moorcock. I don't want to be plagiarized. I don't want any Andrei Sapkowski's ripping me off. I'm sorry, but screw Andrei Sapkowski. Even if he didn't commit plagiarism, like there's so many similarities. He should have credited Michael Moorcock. Unfortunate name, but we won't call him that.
I don't know either. I don't know either of their works. I'm just clueless about that. Personally.
Okay, look up the Elric saga, or actually, no, Razorfist has a video on this. If you want to see all the similarities, just watch that. Just look up Elric Witcher plagiarism and look for the one by Rageaholic. You'll see where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I know Razorfist. Razorfist is good. Good people.
Yeah, I still like that joke he told on Friday Night Tights. Like he said, I'm not that smart. Like I got so many C's in I got more C's in high school than
I know, that was great. That was so good.
No, what was funny was Az and Shadowversity's reaction. Like he almost killed them as far as I'm concerned. Like this guy tried to commit murder with a joke.
Yes. And Gary was like, look at Chrissy Mayer. She's over here writing this down like, damn, I should have thought of that one.
Oh yeah, some of the jokes I use in my videos I borrow from Razorfist. Like I make references to the Hindenburg and Lusitania sometimes.
Ooh, Nice references. Nice. I'm a World War I fanboy, so I get those. That's good. Good.
I'm sort of a World War One fanboy, but that's because I listen to Sabaton too much.
Ah, yes, man of culture.
Well, yeah, it's good music. My favorite one they've done is the Red Baron. I consider that their best song.
I would say objectively their best song is probably Christmas Truce. It's
Oh,
not
that
my
one's
favorite song.
sad. That one's depressing. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, it's great. It's sad, but it's also great. I just got done seeing them live, and it was fantastic. What they had us do, like the theater was full of people of all ages, and the entire concert, like every concert. Okay, there's some people who are into it and dancing and singing, and there's other people who are just sitting down, enjoying, nodding their head. When Christmas Truce came on, every single voice was singing it. Every single one. Old people, young people, everyone was singing that song. It was absolutely inspiring. It was great. And that's part of why I'd say it's probably objectively their best song. But my favorite song from them is probably The Last Stand.
Oh, guys, I have to go, but hey, if you guys are still gonna be on later, I'll rejoin, but I gotta go now. I gotta go take care of something.
That's fine.
All right, later, guys. Hey, Bats, you could keep Nathan company, right?
I think I can, maybe, probably.
Cool. All right, Nathan. Have fun.
Yeah.
Later, guys.
Yeah, see you, Dan. So anyway, yeah, Bruce, what I do is I just usually keep these things up to 2 hours. That's the limit normally.
Okay.
So I think if you want to continue after that, that's fine. But that's usually that's as far as I usually go. Except for this one time, I went for 4 hours, or was it 3 hours? But anyway, yeah.
I'm a gamer, so you know about gamers is that they have asses of steel.
But yeah, like The Last Stand, that's a good song actually. The funny thing is, whenever I hear it, I don't think about what it's referencing. I think about the Crusades for some reason.
Yes, that's a meme. That's a great meme. Do you watch their YouTube channel, Sabaton History?
I've seen some of the videos. I don't know if I'm subscribed to them or not.
Oh, definitely. Everyone should subscribe to Sabaton History. It's great history lessons. It's done by the host of the Great War Channel, the old Great War Channel host, Indy Nidell. He also does World War II. He hosts the World War II week by week.
What was your introduction to Sabaton? What was your introduction to Sabaton?
The Last Stand was my introduction. My buddy was like, "Hey, you like Paramore, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I like Paramore." And he's like, "All right, check this band out. Check this out." And I was like, "This is not like Paramore at all. Like, what is this?" And he sent me this music video of The Last Stand. It was a custom-made music video of a movie with a bunch of knights and things and crusade, etc. And I was like, "Damn, this is really good." And at the time, we were playing Vermintide 2. And I play as the Witch Hunter. He's my main. And it was perfect. It was perfect because we're over here crusading for Sigmar. Because, that's what The Last Stand is about. It's the Crusades. I'm memeing right now. So, yeah, we were just crusading for Sigmar and slaughtering all of the rats. All of the rat men everywhere. We were just killing rat men because the rat men are evil. And spreading the good word of Sigmar.
Yeah.
And that was our introduction. And from there,
no, you
I'm sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say, yeah, my introduction was Aces in Exile. Like Razorfist used their song for an opening for his Red Dead Redemption 2 video. I thought, this is an awesome song. I need to look it up.
Good song. Interesting that's the one that hooked you, though.
Oh, yeah, that used to be my favorite one they did. Then I found more of their songs, and the Red Baron one was the one that just had me going, okay, this one is my favorite.
You like the fighter pilot-based songs, do you?
Fighter? Is that the one where there was a German...
Aces and Exiles is about flight. Red Baron is about flight.
I like some of their other songs. Like, sure. I like their... Careless Rex song. That's a good one too.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Mostly because it kind of shows some ego this guy must have had, because I'm like, man, this Careless Rex sounds like a narcissist. I love it.
Oh yeah, yeah. He was an absolute. He deserved to win all of the wars that he fought because he was a pacifist by nature. Okay, even though he was known for a lot of freaking wars, mainly 3 of them. But his entire philosophy was he would not wage war unless, or he would not end a just war, basically. Now, he made several mistakes and miscalculations and errors, but that's just from the time. That's from the time that he lived. But Carolus Rex is a part of the responsible one for Peter the Great's rise to power. Peter the Great, as awesome as he is, he cucked the entire Swedish Empire, and that's because of Carolus Rex's sister. When Carolus Rex died, she took over the empire, and she was absolutely she wasn't a politician. She knew nothing about how to actually settle diplomacy or wars. So she basically just gave the keys to the Russians. She was like, "Yep, bend the Swedes over and do whatever you want." So that's where, like, when you hear a lot of smack talks about the Swedes being sissies and weak, that comes from Russian propaganda of the Russians just completely bending them over and turning them into cucks because of her.
Wow.
And he is at fault for that because he was the one that left her in charge in the event he died. And he was so egotistical in thinking that he was chosen by God and immune to death that he would live forever, or however long he thought he would live.
Wait a minute, Peter the Great. Well, you said Peter the Great, right?
Who? Peter the Great. Yes, Peter the Great.
That name sounds familiar. Was that Paul's dad?
I don't know. It's been years since I learned about Russian history.
Let me look.
Peter the Great. His crowning achievement was he wanted St. Petersburg, which is supposed to be the avenue to the Baltic Seas. That's what his vision for Russia was. It had to go further west. He wanted it to be attached to Europe because, from his perspective, that's where all the commerce is. That's where the center of the world is, and that's where everything is focused and revolving around. So, and he was right. That was the same type of philosophy that Genghis Khan had for the Huns, and that's what I say Huns, I meant Mongols, for the Mongols. That was also sort of the philosophy of Japan and the philosophy of China was get to Europe. It's also the same that the Middle East had, was the center of the world is Europe.
Okay.
I love history, and
yeah, same here. Same here.
My limited knowledge of history is almost strictly, not almost strictly, but it's heavily grounded in military history. Now, through military history, you learn all kinds of like little nuggets of information, and that's what I love about history is you get these nuggets of information that when you pull on that thread, it leads you down a rabbit hole where you learn about things like the typewriter, or you learn about like incidences of hey, this person was drinking in the same tavern as this other person. Like here's a nice and interesting bit of information. The same tavern the Marines were founded in is the same tavern I want to say the Pennsylvania Masonic Fraternity was founded in.
Really?
Which is also the same tavern that the founding fathers met in when they started, I think, having their constitutional meeting in Philadelphia. So it's hilarious because history has all these little sprinkles of nuggets everywhere, nuggets of knowledge. I'm sorry, and as you pull on them, you begin seeing that there's overlap, and you begin seeing that like things were going on at the same time during these different events, and they helped shape the world. A question I like asking people. I asked Dan this the other day. Who was Hitler before Hitler?
I would say Vlad the Impaler, maybe.
All right, he was one of the guys I suggested. Another one would be Genghis Khan. He would be one. Another before him, who would be before Genghis Khan? Well, before him, it would be Julius Caesar. Okay. And Julius Caesar, 50-50. Was he a good guy? Was he a bad guy? That depends on who you ask.
And before him was Alexander the Great. Was he a good guy or a bad guy?
Right.
No one knows for certain.
Right. Now, we have the big difference between those guys and Hitler, for example, is Hitler had a well-designed archive for all of his actions. Very meticulous in keeping records, very meticulous in showing all of his work. Whereas Caesar and Alexander, and even Genghis Khan for that matter, they were able to tailor the message and rewrite it in their favor. Now, Genghis Khan kind of gets screwed over because from learning from history, it's like, okay, no, we need to keep records of what this asshole is doing so that people know how terrible he is. That was also a part of his method of negotiation and diplomacy, was let people know I am a terrible son of a bitch and you don't want to piss me off.
Yeah.
Also why he doesn't really get a pass as a nice guy.
I for some reason I like the weirdest things in history, like one thing I remember about Paul, like Catherine the Great's son. I only remember him because he was like the Hamlet of Russia, basically. I remember Vlad the Impaler because I found him fascinatingly evil.
Yeah, I at one point I glimpsed at Vlad the Impaler story, and it didn't seem interesting to me. So I was like, okay, don't remember this. Just jettison this information from your head. It's just not important. Just boring. So, I mean, if you want to elaborate, go ahead. Tell me what you found interesting about him.
For me, it was when you see how he began and how he ended up where he ended up. It's just fascinating because, like, this guy was raised among the Turks. Like, he was forced to live among them. And here's the thing about Vlad. He hated the Turks. He had this big hate boner for them. I don't know why. Maybe it was because he was a Christian and they were Islamists. I don't know. But he resisted living among them every chance he got. Like, he hated these fuckers. It's a bit like being a Sith raised among Jedi, basically. And when he found out and actually became king, or the Voya, what was that term he was given? Anyway, one time they sent emissaries to him to demand tribute. You know what his response was? He said, "Why do you have those turbans on your head? You're in my presence." He's like, "We can't remove them. It's part of our custom." All right, guards, let's help them make sure that never happens to them. Nail it to their heads.
Wow, that's actually based.
Yeah, and that was him basically saying, "I will never bow down to you Turks, ever. I am my own man. I will never bow down to you, even an inch." And yeah, he went to war. And here's the fucked up part. He impaled so many of his own people. There was a forest of corpses around his castle. It was so bad that when the Turkish Sultan himself was there, he left. He turned tail and ran.
Oh, yeah.
Like, even the most seasoned of soldiers was disgusted.
What years was this? Was he active? That was like 1700s or 1600s?
Give me 1 second, I can tell you. I just have to look it up. Because I wanted to make a story about a guy who was based on him.
Yeah, because like that sounds very similar to Genghis Khan.
Okay, here it is. He was born 1431. He died December 1476.
Okay, so yeah, that's going off the Genghis Khan timeline. Okay, Genghis Khan just got done kicking the ever-living shit out of the Muslims, like nearly pushing them to extinction.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. What's it called? At the time of Genghis Khan's reign, it was in the middle of the British, or I don't want to say British, the Christian crusade against the Muslims. So at that same time, the crusades were going on. They were getting hammered the Muslims were getting hammered in the east by Genghis Khan's armies. So, and he nearly drove them to extinction because he had enough of their nonsense. He was like, okay, they want me to bow to their sultans, and they don't acknowledge me as their true ruler. So I'm just going to kill them. And he just went on a complete war path to kill them. And what stopped him, like all of his conquests, like when he was about to break into Europe, what stopped him was the fact that his own family had drama.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Drama is what had stopped him from breaking into Europe with politics, along with the Chinese rebelling.
Okay. Yeah, here's the thing about Genghis Khan. Guess who the people call the Genghis Khan of Star Wars?
Who?
Jango Fett.
I doubt it.
I'm sorry, what?
I doubt it.
Oh no, the joke is because he had so many kids. Like Jango had so many clones that are basically like his sons. Genghis Khan.
That's dumb.
Oh, I found that funny though.
I see what they're saying, but that's dumb.
I found it funny when I heard it the first time. I'm like, damn, that's kind of true.
It's true in like if you're trying to tell Genghis Khan's story to like a G audience, like a rated G audience, you're like, hey kids, look, Genghis Khan just had all these kids because he cloned them. It's like you do realize it was actually very brutal what happened and how that many kids were created, right? Like very, very brutal.
Yep. Well, I don't think Genghis Khan's history that well.
But also, very funny enough, his subjugation of his women earned their loyalty. You know, like I mean, because they saw like, okay, if you're not loyal, he'll kill you. Like he just beheads you, like, heads off. However, if you are loyal to him, you're a part of the family, and if someone messes with you, they're messing with him. So, like, it was very, very, how I would say, like, criminal behavior, but it's also very primal, and it's very like, hey, it's us versus everyone else. And so, like, that's a part of what he had done to earn the favor of his followers, but also of his women. I was like, hey, you do this for me, and I will protect you. And
okay.
In today's world, we frown upon that. It's like, oh, that's horrible. But it's how you survive then, because if your culture can't survive, especially with the pregnancies and the birth rates, you know, as well as the life expectancy of the population, you know, you can't survive if you pick one mate. You know, so you go through that method just to overcompensate for nature and evolution.
Oh.
Now, again, looking back in hindsight, we're like, that's terrible. That's absolutely, you know, atrocious. But you got to consider if you're living on the steppes in Asia, life expectancy is very, very short.
Yeah. I didn't know that though. I'll have to, after I'm done talking to you, I'm gonna actually do some research on the Genghis Khan.
There's a good series that I learned from it. My buddy told me, he's like, oh, you like history? You'll like this series. I believe they're free, actually. Dan Carlin. Remember that name? Dan Carlin. He has a series, a podcast he does where he talks about it. He did one about Prince Caesar. or Julius Caesar, not Prince, Julius Caesar, and that was a great series because again, he articulates Julius Caesar as it's like Darth Vader in the real world. Like that's Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar is Darth Vader in the real world. And he paints himself in his own stories as this hero, this great guy who's this fantastic guy. And, historically we know he killed a lot of people and he was very merciless in killing people. But nevertheless, Dan Carlin is a fantastic orator. And
what did you say, Dan? Did you say Dan Carlin?
Dan Carlin, yes.
Say that one more time. You keep breaking up a little.
Dan Carlin.
Dan Carlin. Okay, I found him.
Yeah. Like I said, he's a fantastic orator. And he's not a historian. When he gives you the introduction of his thing, he tells you, he's like, I'm not a historian. I'm more of I think he said he's more of a storyteller, but he's like, but I have the privilege of being able to come at this with a different perspective and different angle and make it interesting. And he does make it interesting. He's not telling history in the form of like a boring lecture of like in 2233, like he's not like that.
Okay.
But yeah, I highly recommend anyone in the audience if you want to enjoy history in an entertaining way, he has a great way of doing that.
Well, hopefully after I upload all this, people will go to that because I don't get that many views on live streams. I get more after I've done them. Like after I finish the live stream in the days following, then I get a lot.
Well, there you go. Well, like I said,
sometimes anyway.
In hindsight, if anyone watching this in the future, Dan Carlin's Hardcore History, I think it's called. Dan Carlin's Hardcore History. I was trying to remember the name of it, but it's fantastic. It's really well done. It's very entertaining, and it's good. It's good. There's plenty of them that I've only heard his Julius Caesar one and his Genghis Khan one. He's got a few of other ones that I want to check out, but they're really good. Like I said, he's really a fantastic orator and storyteller.
So is Genghis Khan like your favorite historical figure? Like, is there an evil figure from history you're fond of?
Fond of?
Like you like to read about?
I think for me, it's probably, I would say my favorite figure is probably, and go figure, it's hilarious. It would probably be Hitler. And that's only because I am a Star Wars nerd. I love Star Wars. And to see the overlap of Star Wars and the Imperial or the Nazis and the Empire, to see the overlap there is fantastic. I love seeing the overlap. And so like, leadership wise, it's Hitler is fantastic to observe because if you follow his history, you follow his story, and you understand human nature, you understand marketing, and you understand politics. Hitler masterfully navigated those things. And by masterfully, he fumbled several times into success. That's something that often gets overlooked with, YouTube is a great example of that. You have a huge failure rate on YouTube, absolutely huge, but you do get success. You do have people who stumble indirectly, accidentally into success. And so it's like, okay, that can happen. That's real world. And the same thing happens in politics. The same thing happens in history where people fumble into success.
Oh yeah, I do it all the time. So I have no idea how I got to 60 subscribers. As of doing this, I expect to lose some of them within the following week, but somehow I've made it gotten by.
Well,
That's
yeah,
kind of funny,
right? And if you have consistent followers who like to listen into your chats, they get very entertained by you, and they get entertained by your discussions. Okay, that's a good thing, right? And you're always looking to expand that audience base. You're always looking to find someone else who's interested in hearing what you have to say, or what whoever you bring on has to say, you know?
Yeah. I'm mostly on people who I know I get along with or have something interesting to talk about. Like one time I brought Dan on to talk about the Star Wars canon system.
Yeah.
One time I brought on Pat to talk about objectivism. Then it devolved into some other subjects.
Right. And that's what keeps people interested, is as well as engagement. Like, you know, if you had a chat here, that's the first stream you invited me on. The chat was there, and I've never done this before. This is my second time doing a stream, second time doing a stream. So, you know, to me, it's a whole weird thing, but being able to interact with the chat is fun. Okay, I enjoy as just someone who's here on a microphone talking to people in chat. You know, I'm used to the old Ventrilo days and Discord days of just talking to people, and you know, a lot of the conversations they have on Friday Night Tights are conversations that you and I have with Dan on Discord, and same with my friends and I. My friends and I, we talk all this stuff. We talk history. We talk. The difference is, you know, we're not there with an audience. You know, so we're able to be a bit more candid, and that's a part of my problem with YouTube as well. Is it's like you can't be candid, you can't be yourself. You have to be mindful of what other people are saying, and you have to be mindful of what you're saying, because some arbitrary YouTube overlord is going to say, "Oh, you can't say that." You know, you just ask me like, what leader in history would I be fond of? Terrible leader, and I just said Hitler. Okay. That's gonna be clipped, and it's like that has to be taken out of context. You know, that's controversial. It's like, oh, he's praising Hitler. No, I'm not praising Hitler at all. I did I'm sorry, I'm not gonna ramble. I was about to ramble, but I'm gonna let you jump in here. What is your favorite evil mastermind of history? That is something I'd like to ask you.
I think Vlad the Impaler, more or less.
Oh, yeah, you already said Vlad the Impaler. I just realized.
Yeah, I guess that'd be him. I find him fascinating on a psychological. Like, I'm not a psychology guy. I don't know much about psychology, but I like to imagine what's going on upstairs with some people.
Yeah.
With Vlad, there's a lot there to dissect and look at and just what's the word? Speculate on. Like, I think this guy was damaged mentally. I do believe that.
Well, there's a lot of psychological warfare that he deployed.
Yeah.
That's really what he did. And I wouldn't subscribe to the idea that he is mentally damaged. I wouldn't subscribe to that.
Why not?
Because in today's world, in our world right now, like, how do you look at agriculture for chickens?
I don't look at it. I have no opinion on it.
Okay. So could you prepare a chicken? I'm censoring, I'm walking around what I'm trying to say, but would you prepare a chicken raw? Like, could you do that?
No, I couldn't.
Okay. I can tell you with certainty there are people who can. Okay, they can take care of a boar as necessary. They can start to finish a boar. Go out to the wild, find a boar, grab it, bring it home, and make dinner out of it. Okay, to them it's nothing. It's just a creature that you have to just do the thing to, and ready to eat it. Okay, whereas could you do that to a dog?
No, yes. I would hurt someone if they did that to a dog. I would be tempted to.
Right. So that's a difference in perspective, a difference in your mind. Okay. You're looking at it as if someone could do that to a dog, they're damaged, they have some sort of emotional problem, some psychological issues. And to that person, you know, that person in China, that person in Malaysia, they're like, what do you mean? This is dinner. Like, this is what you do to eat. You know, cats, dogs, whatever. It's the food source available. It's the chicken that's available. So it's It's a difference in the hardwiring of the brain, but also the development of culture. My one friend, she used to get in these heated debates with her mother over dogs, because she's like, dogs have feelings, they have emotion, and her mom was like, no, they don't. They don't. They're just animals. They're just things. They're there. And it was hilarious seeing the cultural divide between the two, because my friend and I, we grew up in a culture of like, we watched 101 Dalmatians, which, the whole moral of that story is that these puppies actually have their own lives and their own personalities and their unique quirks and differences. And then there's this evil lady and her minions who are like, oh, they're just dogs. They're just fur coats waiting to be put on a person. It's the difference. And my friend's mom looked at dogs, or looks at dogs. She still does, as far as I know. She still looks at them as like they're just creatures that are there. And she's not emotionally damaged or anything. It's just how she was raised. She was raised to say they're just animals. And going back to Corollas Rex and Vlad the Impaler and Genghis Khan, they look at people like, okay, you're just subjects. God made me this way. God put me in this position of power. Therefore, he didn't put you in that position of power. He put me in that position of power. Therefore, I deserve this, and therefore I'm entitled.
That could work well in a story, actually, in a month's way.
It does. Like, if you put that into stories, like, what makes villains interesting is the fact that villains can be, when they're, some would say when they're morally right, but I think it's more so when you can explain their motivations and they make sense for that person's personality.
Oh, I was thinking more like this one Star Wars story I've been wanting to write as like a fan project. It's about a guy called the Rogue Prince, or not the Rogue Sith. And one idea I had was he was kind of like Vlad the Impaler, in that in his time he was this feared person, but in the annals of history he's a footnote. That's kind of how I look at it. Like, I could probably actually have that character do some awful things now because you've given me this idea.
Oh yeah, it's great. That's part of why I like telling stories, is capturing that imagination, capturing that idea in people's heads, letting their minds run with all these creative juices that flow through them. What I was gonna say earlier was I did a small psychological test on my players, where part of my issue with a lot of today's media is villains and bad guys not being villains and bad guys. Okay, it's like you get told this person's a bad guy, but you're not given any reason or explanation as to why they're a bad guy. The CW crossover, Crisis on Infinite Earths, they had these not Crisis on Infinite Earth, there was one before that, Crisis on Two Worlds, I think it was. Any rate, they had these Nazi superheroes, and we didn't really see the Nazi bad guys and the superheroes do anything bad. All they did was come through to our world, and they're like, we're going to take over everything. They blew up some stuff. We didn't see anyone die, and they kept doing the Roman salute. And it's like, or they also had Nazi paraphernalia and symbolism on themselves, but that was it. And they were like, oh, we put people in jail because they were gay. Like they had several characters. They had a jail scene. And it's like, why are you here in jail? And it's like, oh, because I fell in love with another man, or I fell in love with another woman, and my father couldn't take it, so he turned me into the police.
Well,
and it's
Bruce, I'll be right back. I just have to go clean up some dog pee real quick. Can you just give me a second?
Sure.
All right, be right back.
All right.
Okay, I'm back.
All right. So yeah, what I was saying was that they had drawn these circumstances where like, okay, these guys are evil because they put someone in jail because they're gay. They put someone in jail because they spoke up. They had freedom of speech, or they spoke out against the government. Like all these terrible things that someone shouldn't be put in jail for. And then when you actually saw them do something, they didn't do anything evil. So I took issue with that. I'm like these guys are supposed to be Nazis, and they're not doing anything evil. They're not doing anything bad. Like, come on, give me something evil, something bad. So what I did in one of my D&D games is I split the party up into two groups, and I had them do like a time travel thing where they went back in time in this medieval world where they had to deal with these equivalent to Nazi bad guys. Okay. And I put some players on the Nazi team, and I put some players on the Polish resistance team. And if they worked together, they would see the full picture. They would see the full story. If they separated, it would be a us versus them situation, and they would end up killing each other. And they weren't sure where they were supposed to go until they discovered that they were dropped into this historic moment for a reason. At any rate, they had to maintain their cover. So the people who were on the Nazi team got to witness and see terrible things. Okay, they had to order beatings and things like that. Just absolutely terrible things, horrible things. And the players themselves were telling me at the end of every session, they were telling me like, this is really dark and really like our stomachs are like in knots. And I told them, I had to stop them. I'm like, guys, if you're disgusted by this, if you're disgusted by all this evil that you're watching and observing, and people are just I'm making the NPCs very calm about it. It's like, oh yeah, just go ahead and off all of these halflings. And the players are disgusted by this. I'm like, if you guys are disgusted by this stuff, I want you to know you're normal. That's the normal reaction to this stuff. And as humans, when you hear about the stuff that the Nazis did, the stuff that Vlad the Impaler did, it should mortify you. It should disgust you. It should be very horrible from to you as a human being, because you as a normal person, you don't see this as something you would do. Okay, normal people don't do this. So it's something extraordinary. It's something had to cause this. It had to be evil. And that's what I love about storytelling. That's what I try to capture in any story I tell, in any Dungeons and Dragons game I play, in any story I'm telling people about. I'm like, oh yeah, go check out this story. Check out this movie. It's when you get to see the villain being evil and unapologetically so, and maybe even from their perspective, they're righteous. They're doing the right thing. Okay, that's what I love. I love seeing that pure evil. And I also love seeing that pure good and that pure humanity fighting back against it. That's, again, why I like Star Wars. That's what I like about A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. I don't see that necessarily in episode 1 to 5. Episode 1 to 5, they get lost in the weeds and they go off on all these other fantastical elements. They lose the core message of good versus evil, in my opinion.
Yeah, like Space Monkey pointed this out, like post 9/11 torture became justified. Like you can justify doing some awful stuff if you have the ideal circumstances. A person can justify doing some really atrocious things. Like I think Vlad the Impaler, he could, like as you said, he could look at some of the things he was doing and he felt, well, God put me in the position to do this. He wants me to do this. I need to do this because he gave me the option.
Yeah. And it's always amusing to listen to the justifications that people have. It's amusing to listen to the justifications that they have to do the terrible things that they do.
Yeah, which is weird because, like, you look at a bunch of manga protagonists who do awful things, they can justify doing these awful things. It's like, oh, I'm getting revenge for my father, or like Thorfinn had this excuse for why he killed so many people. It was because he wanted to avenge his father by killing Askeladd in a duel. So he killed people for Askeladd so he would get the chance to kill Askeladd in a duel. But this meant he had to kill complete strangers for Askeladd for the sake of revenge.
Yeah. And that's like I said, that's it's always interesting to see that how I don't want to say people, but people too, but characters justify their actions, justify what they're doing in their philosophies. That again, that's what I like about storytelling. That's when you look at Sherlock Holmes. We were talking about Sherlock Holmes earlier. When you look at Sherlock Holmes has some very fascinating villains because their agendas, their philosophies, their approaches to things are really interesting and strange. In the one story for Sherlock Holmes, drawing a blank on one or on which story, but the murderer.
You mean the villain's name? That might help. I might be able to help you there if I knew the villain's name.
I don't remember his name.
Was he a sharpshooter?
Yes.
That was Moran.
Yeah. So like he was absolutely fantastic because he's a hero. He's a hero, and Sherlock Holmes is kind of like sympathetic to him because it's like this guy, we're hunting him down as a murderer because he is one, but he did it for the right reasons. It's more so in that case, it's a homicide, not a murder. In my opinion, it probably, by British law, it's murder. But in my opinion,
Colonel Sebastian Moran, an ex-army colonel and the right-hand man to Professor Moriarty. Like he was the Watson. He was like the Watson for Moriarty, basically.
Oh no, okay, no, not him. No, it's not him. Not him. No. This was he was a sharpshooter, but he basically he fell in love with this girl, this Mormon girl, and the Mormons kept her away from him. And so he coordinated a rescue plan to get her out. And her father coordinated with him to get her out of the Mormon secret society. And she eventually got kidnapped, or in the middle of her escape, she got kidnapped, brought back to the Mormon village. And I forget if she killed herself or if they killed her. I don't remember which. But he blamed the guy who wanted to marry her, as well as the leader. And at some point up to this, like all happened in like 1860 to like 1870. So in that time frame, he was a young man. Well, when you get to 1888, that's when the murders happen. And so that's when Sherlock Holmes finds out that, okay, this is from a blood feud traced all the way back to America, and it's some sort of crime of passion. And Sherlock Holmes deduces that the reason why this guy is on this whole blood path and why he's perfectly fine telling Sherlock Holmes everything is because he's dying. And Sherlock Holmes is able to tell the Inspector Lestrade, he's like, look, you can book him, you can charge him, but he's going to be dead before you even get him to the jail. Like, he's going to be dead very, very soon now. And the guy said, I forget what deal he made with Sherlock Holmes, but he made a deal with Sherlock Holmes where he would write down on a piece of paper everything, so long as it was published or let known why he did what he did. And so he managed to, he promised that he would avenge his lover. He would avenge her. So he killed both the Mormon husband, and he killed the Mormon pastor or father, or whatever his role was. And then, he promptly died himself because he had like lung cancer or some shit like that.
Okay. Yeah, that is interesting though, because I think Loki said best, every villain is a hero in his own mind.
I don't necessarily think that. I don't think every villain was. You take Darkseid, for example. Darkseid isn't a hero. He doesn't see himself as a hero. He sees himself
as... He believes what he's doing is... Well, wait, does Darkseid believe what he's doing is right? That's what I need to know, because I don't know much about Darkseid.
No, Darkseid does not view what he does as right. He views himself as a force of nature. He looks at he is an inevitable way of nature. He is the natural evolution of nature, and evil is the triumphant goal. That's how he looks at it.
So by that logic, he sees himself as justified in doing what he's doing. Then
he's narcissistic in that regard. It's
that's
like,
what I mean by that quote by Loki. The thing is, by that Loki means every villain believes what they're doing is justifiable. So even the most evil of men can think that. Like, that's what I want to do in this one story. Is like, it's a Sith who is fucked up. He sees other fucked up shit, and he's able to justify it as this was done for essentially the greater good, or to quell a rebellion. Like, he can. Like, I like characters like that are fucked up in a way.
Yeah. Well, like I said, that's I don't think Darkseid is quite like that. You know, Darkseid is evil. He knows what evil is. He chooses to be evil. You know, I don't see him as the type who's like, oh, I'm the hero of my story. You know, I'm doing a moral good. I don't think he sees himself that way. Darkseid is, his objective is to inflict pain and suffering and evil, just like Palpatine. Palpatine doesn't look at himself as a moral good. He's evil. You know, he's just downright evil. He wants.
Oh yeah, no. Palpatine is like, if I had to describe, he's like a Sith at their worst. Like, he is just malicious and self-indulgence to a T.
Yes, and that's by design. You know, that's the brilliance of George Lucas. Believe it or not, that's the brilliance of it. Is that, you know, politicians. Find me a politician. Go ahead, name one. I'd love for you to name one. Anyone in the audience, find a politician who
Joe Biden.
No, let me finish. Who won office, who won their position of power by saying, I want to create pain and suffering for everyone under my authority. Find me one. I would love to see that politician. That politician who's like, yes, under me, I guarantee you will suffer. You will be miserable. I will make every day of your life absolutely agonizing pain. Okay? I would love to find that politician. You're never going to find him. Okay? So you don't win elections. You don't win power. You don't gain power with that as your platform. And that's the beauty of Hitler, beauty of Sidious, is that they are unapologetic, they are evil, and everyone was duped. Everyone was like, oh yeah, it can't be that bad.
Oh yeah, no, I said the same thing in my video on why Palpatine is the GOAT of villains. This guy acted like the kindly elder in the room who had your best interest at heart. He played the Republic and the Jedi like a fiddle, and he did it like it was nothing.
Yes.
And actually, I compare him to the devil, only he's worse than the devil. Because here's the thing about the devil that I heard at one point. He tried to tempt Christ into turning on God, I think. Now, the devil thankfully failed. Palpatine temporarily succeeded. So, yeah, he's worse than the devil. He temporarily won up the devil, essentially.
Well, Palpatine is supposed to be the personification of evil. And, you know, his whole thing is that he derives pleasure from suffering and pain. You know, that's kind of I would put that as a precursor to evil, is you derive pleasure from pain, suffering of others.
Yeah, he's a psychopath, a sadist. He gets off on it.
Yes. And, you know, that's horrible, but it's also what makes him a great villain, is that his motivation, his pleasure is the suffering of others. And so he's an easy villain to absolutely hate. Another villain that's great, he's a great villain, you love to hate him, is Jafar from Aladdin. Okay, my man here wants to enslave Princess Jasmine, take over the kingdom, subjugate everyone under his rule. And like a typical vizier, he sees himself as he is the backbone of the entire nation. So, you know, the Sultan has no power without the vizier. And so, well, why not just cut out the middleman? Cut out the sultan and make the vizier the sultan. And there you go. Now you have a proper reigning kingdom. The problem is that, like, well, no, you're just an evil son of a bitch. I feel like I'm talking like Jordan Peterson now.
That would actually be funny, but you know,
I mean, I can talk about Jafar and how he's evil, and he's trying to take over the whole world, and Aladdin's here, just a noble, humble hero who's trying to work things out, help people.
yeah, that's a decent impression. But I will say that's the thing about Palpatine. Like, he is the classic villain. That's probably what I like about him, is he is just a bottomless evil. There is no reason to what he does. It's just his nature.
Yeah. Well, are you a Stargate fan? Have you ever followed Stargate?
I used to watch it. It's hard for me to watch now.
Well, the Goa'uld and Stargate are fantastic because their nature is, well, they're parasites. So their nature is to, manipulate and use people and use them as hosts. And like a parasite, their objective is to make you need them more than they need you, or at least leave that impression. And that's great villainy. Stargate has some fantastic villains, and sadly, Stargate underutilized them in their series.
Yeah, my favorite one was probably Anubis. Like, he seemed like this almost primordial evil. Like, he had that feel. He felt like a primordial evil, this ancient evil that had been gone for so long. And when he returned, like, everyone was like, you could tell there was a chill in the room when his name was mentioned.
Yes. Now, you want to know a funny story about that? Anubis was supposed to be Sokar.
What?
Yes.
Wait,
Sokar was supposed to be. Sokar is the Egyptian god. He's basically Lucifer. Okay, he's the Egyptian Lucifer, and he was supposed to be the main endgame boss or villain to Stargate. Problem was they fucked that up. They wanted that to be like kind of like the crowning villain. They were going to bring him back, but then they realized, well, wait a minute, we already kind of built that lore and we screwed the pooch on that lore. So they were like, okay, well, we'll have to do it with someone else. And then they came up with Anubis as the substitute. And once they began writing Anubis, they were like, this is what we wanted to do with Sokar. Why didn't we do this with Sokar? Oh, yeah, that's an amusing little bit of trivia I'd come to learn some time ago.
Oh, yeah, I've never even heard of Sokar. Like, this is news to me. I'll have to research him after we get done talking.
Yeah, they do a 2-part episode with Sokar, and it's a shame because they build up Sokar. They mention him like once or twice in that season, and then when they actually get to Sokar, they kill him off, and it's like, cool, awesome, it was badass that you killed him off, but you built him up so much that it's a shame that you didn't get to do more with him, that you just killed him off. Like they emphasize that he is basically Lucifer. He's Hades. He's the god of the underworld. And
well, hold up. I don't think comparing him to Hades is fair. Like, Hades is probably the least dickish god out there.
Well, he is the god of the underworld, and he is also like a trickster, manipulator, son of a bitch. So that's
Hades. I know, but I would argue Hades is less dickish though, because he actually keeps his word. Like, he doesn't cheat on his wife. He more or less tries to do right by people.
He keeps his word to the extent of he's a typical Greek Roman villain of he says one thing and then he holds it to that meaning. And like, well, I didn't say I wouldn't kill you. I just said I wouldn't be the one to kill you. And it's like, well, 6 in one, half a dozen the other. What's the difference?
I guess that makes sense. But I remember there was this one guy named Asclepius. He was, I think, keeping people from dying, or he was helping people escape death. Hades went to Zeus saying, okay, this guy's stealing my followers. I need you to do something about him. Zeus's response was to set the guy on fire. Now, do you blame Hades or Zeus in that scenario?
I would blame the guy. I'd blame the guy. I wouldn't blame either of them because, like, he shouldn't be getting involved in that, right?
Yeah, I would blame Zeus though, because Zeus is the dickest dick of gods. Like he's the worst of the gods out there.
Well, yeah, he's a great example of what we were talking about earlier, where it's like, okay, is he really a dick, or is that just a cultural thing? You know, Zeus is here trying to maintain control and reign over his kingdom, and he can't just have every Tom, Dick, and Harry decide that they're going to dictate and decree how things are going to operate. But also, I think Zeus is a great character because Zeus has the foresight of his own father. He's like, okay, so my dad killed his dad because his dad was a complete asshole. And if I don't wisen up, I'm going to end up like my dad, and my own children are going to kill me. So I'm just going to do what I can to make everyone happy so that no one wants to kill me because I don't want to die. That I thought was absolutely hilarious about Zeus.
Yeah, I still say he's still a man whore, and I hate man whores.
Oh, that's fine. That I don't have a problem with. Like let people be man whores if they want to be. If they want to be sluts, they can be sluts. It's just, let people be people. They're gonna be.
I find it funny though, because like he basically cheated Hades out of being king of the gods, basically.
Oh, that he did do, yeah.
Like, I'll give Zeus this. He is crafty. He's a crafty son of a bitch.
But if you had a choice, right? Like, if you had a choice of who would you rather rule? Would you rather rule the guy, or who would you rather rule? Would you rather the guy with anger issues, or would you rather the guy with who speaks in double tongues, or would you rather the guy who just likes to get sex? Like of those three options, who would you pick? Like, who would you want to be the guy?
I'd pick Hades 1,000,000 times over.
So you would pick the politician? Like,
yes,
that's who you're choosing. You're choosing the politician. I'd say no.
Okay.
No. I don't want. I don't want the anger-filled man baby, which was Poseidon.
I would choose him on the grounds of. This is why I would choose Hades. From what little I know of him, again, I'm still learning mythology, but from what I do know of him, he sounds like the more reasonable one. Like, when Hercules was told to go get Cerberus, Hercules went directly to Hades for permission.
Yes.
And Hades is like, yeah, you can do that. I don't care.
Yeah.
But you just can't hurt him. You can't harm Cerberus. You have to subdue him with your bare hands. Oh, this is classic. I love it.
Well, right. That's exactly it. Like he's like, oh, yeah, it's fine, Hercules. Like that's double speak, little douchebag.
I mean, I see him being a politician, but he's like, yeah, no, you can take him with you. You just have to bring him back at some point after you're done.
Yeah, and you can't, hurt him. You got to use your bare hands because you're Hercules.
Well, he probably knows that
right?
Hercules. Yeah, he probably knows Hercules can do that with no problem. So he's like, yeah, I'm going to make this a situation where neither of us loses. Hey, Dan, we're just talking about Greek mythology now.
Dan's
and we're debating who's worse, Zeus or Hades. I still say Hades is better.
Like I said, I'll take the man whore over the politician any day.
Hades may be a politician, but he's like the politician who keeps his word. Can you name a politician these days who keeps their word?
I would say probably only one, and that would be Rand Paul. And sort of ironically, Trump too. Trump also.
I know, that's weird. That's weird. The businessman keeps his word. That is weird.
Yes, and the doctor. The doctor and the businessman are the two that are honor bound to do what they say.
Looks like he got outvoted. Me and Dan are going with Hades, I guess.
Oh, well, that's because you guys got some perspective of history. You guys got to see. Okay, well, these are the stories. But if you take Hades, put him in the same situation Zeus was in, do you think things would have turned out the same? No, it would
No.
have been different. And can you imagine how much different they would be? That's the thing. That's the thing.
I know, but here's the thing: if Hayes was in charge, there wouldn't be so many half godly bastards running around.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with half godly bastards?
Have you seen the damage they do?
Have you seen the good that they've done?
I know, but they do good and bad. That's the thing, and the damage they do is still damage. So it's like, do you want nothing to happen or some good with the?
Well, how do you know that Hades would do nothing? Like, how do you? What's your metric for that? What's your gauge so that Hades would do nothing? Because Hades has his own ambitions, his own desires, and goals.
Hang on, Dan. What did I say that has you laughing? I don't get it. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. No. I believe in contraception, and I'm not that shy about abortion. I think all the women Zeus raped should have got abortions. They had the right to that.
I don't think he. I don't know. I don't think he raped many women.
I'm sorry, the woman he struggled.
I don't think he. I think he misled them in terms of like, hey, I'm the secret identity person. But to my knowledge, almost all of them were consensual. They all were like, oh my God, this guy's so handsome and nice. And,
no, what I always heard, it was usually not consensual. That's the story I was always hearing, but that's the version I heard. I might have heard the wrong one.
Yeah, that I don't believe is true. I don't know. I'm not that big on Greek mythology myself, so someone in the chat wants to chime in and say, "Hey, there you go." There's an opportunity for someone in the chat to chime in with their knowledge of Greek and Roman mythology. You know, a lot of my knowledge comes from Wikipedia and from various comic books, as well as little nuggets I get from hearing people talk about like debate, religion, and history. One friend once picked on me because I said Persephone, and he was a big Greek mythology dude, and he was like,
"Oh, do you mean Persephone?"
Yes, and he was like, "What the hell did you just say?" And I was like, "Persephone."
Hey guys.
Hey Dan, welcome back. It was great. It was absolutely hilarious. His reaction was great. That's also why I'm telling that story, because he had a great reaction.
Also, Dan, are you really surprised I would say that, though? This is me we're talking about. I say stupid stuff on the fly.
Dude, I'm just joking. I'm not being serious.
Oh, I know. This is also me joking. I say stupid stuff on the fly, though.
I mean, is it really stupid?
Yeah, good point.
I'm not gonna ask you on whether it's right or wrong morally. I'm just gonna say, is it stupid? Is it?
I don't know. I'd have to think about it, but that would require me to think about it.
You don't want to think about it?
No. I take the Rick Sanchez approach on some things and go, don't think about it.
Oh, but Nathan, ironically enough, Rick is a walking contradiction. He thinks all the time. It's like he wants to turn his brain off and not give a shit, but all the times I've watched Rick and Morty, I'm like, dude, you're in self-denial.
I'm gonna be right back. I have to run to the restroom.
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to close this up here soon. So after it reaches the 3-hour mark, I think I'm going to call it there.
Has it really been 3 hours?
No, it's been 2 hours, 28 minutes, and almost 2:20. It's almost been 2 hours and 29 minutes. Oh no, it's been 29 minutes now. So yeah, I have 31 more minutes left.
Wow, you really are keeping track.
No, there's a timer.
Hey Nathan, why don't you rip off that Band-Aid and make it a 4-hour live stream?
No.
No? Are you sure?
Yes, I had shit to do.
Wow.
I think. Let me check my writing schedule.
You know,
I
Nate,
was writing notes. I was writing notes for that Star Wars story I told you about, but then I had a problem.
what?
Well, the protagonist's last name is Calig. I don't know if I want to use that or not.
I mean, why not?
It's the name of it's the name of the Sith Inquisitor in the Old Republic.
Yeah, it could be an interesting callback.
Oh no, it's an Elseworld story. That's why I'm debating whether to use it or not.
Well, dude, just remember, you're the artist, so in this situation, you're the captain of this ship. It's your call.
Whoa. Artist seems a bit pretentious. I'm a writer. I can't draw. I suck at drawing.
Well, writing can be art, dude.
Yeah.
You didn't know that?
But yeah. No, I'm not Robert E. Howard, so I don't consider my writing.
You don't have to be Robert E. Howard. You could be Trippy to Chick Stick and still be an artist.
30 more minutes. Just 30 more minutes.
I'm serious, dude. You don't need to be a legend or someone with a high reputation to be an artist. You could shit on the wall and show that to some, pretentious people in Manhattan, and they'll call it art. I'm sure one of them will.
29 more minutes. I only have to wait 29 more minutes.
It is true.
Anyway.
Dude, I grew up in New York. If there's one thing I've learned in New York, it's anything is art if you say it is.
Yeah, plus I have a book. I still have to read that Deceived book.
Deceived?
Yeah, the Star Wars book.
I got a question for you, Nathan. Did the book deceive you?
I want to hurt you right now. Seriously, I want to find a way to reach through the internet and grab you by the throat.
Yeah, well, that's not happening anytime soon. No, sirree, Bob. No.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I guess Space Monkey left.
Yep. Oh well. Can't last forever.
Yeah, well. Hey, what did Black Widow say in Avengers Age of Ultron? Nothing lasts forever.
I have no idea. I never saw that movie.
No. It's funny because in Avengers 2012, Nathan, they're like, we're bringing the team together. We're the Avengers. We're gonna save the world. And then in the trailer for Avengers Age of Ultron, they're like, Tony's like, this is the end of the path I started us on. And Black Widow's like, nothing lasts forever. And I'm like, what the fuck, guys? It's only been what 2 years? It's only been 2 years and you're done being the Avengers? What? And yeah, sure enough, after Age of Ultron, they're like, all right, we're all retiring. Cap, here's these new members. They're the Avengers now. And I'm like, okay, well, that's cool. But it's like, I would have liked to get a show or something. It's like, I would have liked to spend more time with the original Avengers in the MCU. I mean, in the MCU, what have they done? Outside, like, forget the Thanos shit, Nathan. Forget the Thanos shit. Like, okay, they fight Loki, and then what? They attack like terrorists, like Hydra terrorists, a couple months, and then they fight Ultron, and then they break up. They break off, and then there's Civil War after the new team screws up. It's like it's beautiful in the sense that with the Nolan movies, Batman he fights for what 2 years and a couple months, and then he waits 8 years, and then he's Batman again. And then with the MCU, the Avengers, they're like for the Avengers for like a couple years, and then they stop, and then they get back together, to stop world-ending threats. It's like when you look at the universes of these movies, you realize that they give the illusion of comics, because with comics, time is endless. In the world of comics, a year can be 5 years. But movies, like a year can go by in the blink of an eye. By the time the sequel happens, it's been 2 years. You ever find that interesting?
No, I have a response to that, though.
What?
26 more minutes.
Really, dude? Really?
Yep, really.
Come on, Nathan. I want you to think about this for a minute. Just, sit down and think about it.
Okay, there are lots of things I want to think about. Maybe a guy railing a hot woman, nihilism, hope, objectivity, redheads, Coca-Cola.
Okay. All right. Look, Nathan. I want you to stop for a minute. Most of what you mentioned was what I was going over. It's like, forget the redheads, forget the man grilling the woman, forget that shit. That's not important.
Oh, not grilling, railing. Big difference.
I don't give a shit, dude. Think about the objectivism, the nihilism, reality, philosophy. I mean, I was going over the complexities between comic book movies and comic books, how they're similar yet different. It's like, here's where the nihilism comes in, Nathan. Despite the meaning that the movies give you at the characters, when you realize how fast things go, it starts to feel pointless. But even though you still care about it, it starts to feel pointless. But with comics, with how long lasting they are, you feel
You're
meaning.
literally boring me to sleep. Please stop.
Dude, come on. Like, look, let's go into the deeper layers of this shit. It's like you just, I don't know, man. It's like there's much more to this than you think,
Okay.
I want you to see past the layers here. I'm trying to
Well, you're not an ogre, and you don't have an onion, so no.
No, dude, I mean, if I had an onion, I'm not giving it to anybody, but look, dude, I'm the Ancient One, you're Doctor Strange. I'm going to basically show you the fucking multiverse, just show you the secrets of existence, the universe, and you're just saying no. Why?
Because I feel like it. I'm very capricious.
Okay, that's fair. Well, if you ever change your mind.
I'm a bit like Damon from House of the Dragon. I am very capricious. I'm very impulsive.
Well, okay.
Not very good traits to have.
I know.
Very, very not good traits.
I know they suck. Trust me. Is there an echo?
Huh?
Maybe, I don't know.
Testing. Okay, I can barely hear it now. But anyway, now it's 23 more minutes.
Dude, can you do anything else but count down for when your quota ends?
Okay, let's talk. Let's go back to talking about history.
What kind of history?
Like how Genghis Khan was a weirdo.
Oh my god! All right.
Well, I need Bruce here to do that. He knows more about him than me.
You roped me into this. You're like, I'm gonna go to him for this because
Yeah,
that's what I need him to do.
Yes, let's talk about how weird Genghis Khan was.
I mean, was he weird?
I don't know. Didn't he subjugate women?
Dude, who doesn't do that?
I mean, yeah, he subjugated a lot of people, not just women.
I know, but it's like the wife thing. Like, I have to wonder, how did he keep track of all his wives? Did he have numbers on their backs?
No, dude. Back in those days, you had a lot of civilizations where people have more than one wife.
Actually, in his culture, it didn't really matter. You were in his house / tent. You were his. Period. There wasn't
Mother's Day
a debate or discussion. It was a matter of just, you're now mine. Period.
Wow, Mother's Day must have been a bitch for him.
I don't think Mother's Day existed.
Yeah.
The glory days. The glory days of those days.
Dude, I can see why people hate you.
Well,
yeah, I try really hard. I work for it. Actually, you know what would be worse is the Father's Day. Like, imagine Genghis Khan getting all these Father's Day letters.
Father's Day letters?
Yeah, like, let's say he was alive today and he was getting letters from all his descendants. Do you have any idea how many letters he'd be getting?
Honestly, I don't think he'd care.
No, but he'd still get them. You'd have to load a tanker full of them.
Well, should I speak my mind?
I mean, it is a free platform.
As Dan knows very well, I'm very, when I speak my mind, it can fracture worlds.
I love it how you tear things apart.
Go for it. Tear the multiverse asunder. I don't care.
Yeah, so like this is like an artificial conversation. That's how I see it. It's an artificial conversation, not like a genuine conversation. It's like edgy conversation. It's like,
okay, I'm just like giving subjects. Like, no, I just like to shift the conversation around. Like, yeah, no, you can talk about what you want to. I don't care. I have nothing to say at this point. I'm out of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, we were having fun talking about Sabaton and history and Star Wars. My God, we've run out of subjects.
You've run out of subjects. If you've run out of subjects, Nathan, how can you run a kingdom?
What?
So the key thing is, okay, Dan was just talking about some interesting stuff. Okay,
I know, but it flies over my head. That's the problem. Like, some stuff just flies over my head and I can't control it.
Sure. But even so, okay, it's a matter of repetition. It's a matter of you keep doing it and eventually it clicks. Eventually it snaps in your head and you understand it. And
okay, so if I have Dan say this again, I might remember it at some point.
Not necessarily Dan. Dan could just be babbling off stuff and you don't have any understanding of what the hell he's saying, right?
Right.
But someone out there might understand what he's saying. Someone out there might enjoy what he is saying. And what you do is you facilitate that. You work with that. Okay? You can easily say to Dan, I don't know what you're saying, but it sounds fun or it sounds cool or it sounds like you're really into this. Okay? Like that's a completely legitimate thing to say or do or stance to hold. You can also say you don't find it, you don't enjoy it. You can say it's I find it boring. Okay? That's fine too. But if you're in a situation where you're like, I'm out of things to talk about, that's your opportunity. Talk about that thing. Be like, okay, how would you Dan, all that stuff you're talking about, how would you translate that to Star Wars? Because
go for it. Let's hear it. Let me get a pen and paper. I need to write this down.
What the subjects joke?
No, whatever you're going to talk about, I'm going to take notes.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't have any paper. Never mind.
You don't need paper. You have WordPad.
Did I miss something here?
No, I'm just being overly critical. Like,
you talked into letting you talk about that thing again. So maybe this time I'll remember. Either that, or I can just go back and watch this stream and then listen to it over and over again until I get it right.
You know, my thing is going back to what Dan was saying. Okay, getting off topic and not being a critical missile. My thing is what Dan was talking about is in the comics, it's an interesting time lapse that you have to pay attention for, especially with how comics are made, because you can sometimes tell if an issue was made back to back or if an issue was released monthly, because monthly issues, and New 52 loves doing this, and it shows. Monthly issues have these gigantic time lapses. And you're like, well, wait a minute. What happened? Like last time we were reading the comic, Green Arrow was hanging off of a ledge. And now suddenly we're in Naples and Green Arrow is infiltrating a spy ring. Like, what happened? And then you have to get halfway through the comic to then have a connector to what happened in the previous comic. And they're explaining, oh, yeah, that was, some time ago. Oh, gee, thanks for giving me the time lapse here. Some time ago.
Wow. That sounds like a headache.
Yeah. Whereas, Man of Steel, okay, by John Byrne, Okay, if you read that back to back, you might think that this is a story that's happening in chronological order and it's happening back to back. It's not. That's a bunch of stories mix mashed and put together into one giant volume to say, here's the canon story arc of the character. And there's time that takes place between these individual stories. And you're going to have these jump forward and jump backs in time. But to coherently read it, this is the order in which you should read those stories.
Wow. Yeah. Again, that sounds like what you just said sounds interesting. How do I put this? That actually sounds like that sounds like a reason to have a gripe with New 52 because I only read Red Hood from New 52. I read nothing else aside from Justice League Dark. So I never saw that problem. Well, no, actually there were crossover problems.
Well, yeah, that's just an example with New 52. Like New 52 did that, but the old comics did that. As part of one of the things they would do is they would have annuals. And the idea of annuals to me is stupid because, I shouldn't say the idea. The evolution of them is stupid because an annual should be a one-shot issue. It's your opportunity for the Justice League to get together and have their kick-ass moment together at the end of the year. And hi, Cat. Why are you yelling at me?
Love cats and love dogs.
So yeah, it's your opportunity for the Justice League to get together, or Avengers even, to get together and have their story that doesn't require several months of build-up. It doesn't require several months of storytelling. It's, hey, here's one issue. It's 96 pages. Enjoy it. Which reminds me, where's my comic? My Rippaverse comic came in today. I'm absolutely ecstatic.
Oh, you got Isom? Wow.
Yes.
I was gonna get that till the guy who made it trash talked one of my friends. Now I'm debating whether to get it or not.
Wait, you mean that guy who was into grass or something? I forgot his name.
No, Zero.
Oh, Zero. Wait, Eric Trask Zero.
Yeah.
Oh.
Look. I don't agree with Eric on everything. I agree with him on a lot of things, but not with everything.
Right.
I like Peter Simeti, and I've seen Eric July and Peter Simeti go back and forth with each other, and I'd rather not see them go back and forth with each other.
Who's Peter Simeti again?
He is a Alterna Comics. I think he's the creator of Alterna Comics.
Oh.
And but it's like we're all on the same side here. We all don't like the DC Comics and Marvel Comics tyranny. So we're all on the same side here. And Peter Simeti was trying to say, this was a while ago. This was like over a year ago now, I think. Peter Simeti was saying, Eric July needs to be careful in gatekeeping. There shouldn't be any gatekeeping in comics. And Eric July obviously disagrees with this premise.
Yeah, I have to agree with Eric July in this case.
Yeah. And so, their disagreement, I got in there and I was like, well, I think you guys are misunderstanding what each other are saying. And Eric July responded to me like, yeah, all of that stuff you're talking about is nothing relevant to anything of what I'm talking about. And I was like, my gut instinct was, oh shit, he's attacking me. And then I thought about it, I was like, no, he's responding just directly. Like, people aren't used to people being direct with them. And that's what I appreciate about Eric July. He will just directly challenge or talk about a thing, and you can take it the wrong way and get butthurt, or you could just say, yeah, he's answering me genuinely and directly. He's not being a politician. He's just saying, hey, here's your question or statement. Here's my direct response to that question or statement. And to me, I love that. If everyone talked that way, society would be fantastic.
I know the problem with me with this situation was basically Zero was just stating what his what's the word? I guess perception of the matter was, like the problems Eric July was facing. And he responded by saying, "Yeah, thanks for the useless information."
Oh yeah. I saw that. That was great. Yeah, because it's someone who's trying to tell Eric July what his own problems are, and it's like, well, fuck off. Like, you don't know what his problems are, so to open your mouth and start talking about that is absurd. It's absurd.
Well, no, I think he was saying something like, because Eric July was already having a problem with, like, I can't remember what the problem was, but it wasn't a problem on Eric's part. It was other people fucking with him. That's what my friend was pointing out.
Yeah.
That's why I had a problem. It's like, he's just pointing out a problem you're probably going to face. Like, he was just, I don't know, warning you, I guess. And this is the kind of attitude I expect from people like Jerry Conway. That's why I find it off-putting.
Yeah, like I said, that to me, like that's the nothing burger. That's not a deal breaker for me. You know,
Yeah, I really read Common America, mostly because Common America looks like it's more funny than, like, Eric July's comic looks more serious, and I don't. Well, actually, no. I guess I'd have to wait. Does he give off samples? Like, is there a digital sample I can read?
I think there is. I'm trying to think on what. I think you got to go to the Rippaverse website to see some of the little samples, but they're not like a DC Comics or Marvel version of a sample. You know, where it's like, oh, here's like 4 or 5 pages or 6 pages of the story that you get to tease and see and get an idea about.
Okay, well, I guess I could check that out. I remember with Common America, I just got the first issue to see if I would like it. That thing was like $20. I'm like, damn.
Yeah,
like each of these costs like $20 fucking dollars, and I'm just like, damn, that's a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a picture of this thing and I'm gonna post it. Like, oh yes, because you know this is definitely not a real comic. Like Eric July is just working a grift. That's a meme. If you guys weren't aware. Yeah, the meme is that Eric July is just grifting people out of their money, and this comic doesn't actually exist. So, and I've been waiting so long for this thing, man. Like, I was like, oh my god, because like the initial story, the initial trailer of Isom, very well done, very well done. Dan, when we were talking about like how you get your hook, Isom is tip top. That's how you do your hook. How Eric July did, or the Rippaverse, I should say, how the Rippaverse led into Isom. Like the hook, everything set up for Isom is how you should tell your story. It's how you pitch your story. It's how you get your audience interested.
It can't be any harder to follow than Razorfist stuff, because like his book, it's hard for me to follow what's happening in that.
Well, in Razorfist's case, his story takes issue with his issue, I think, to my understanding, takes place in an already existing universe. He's not making his own universe.
Yeah, I get. No, it's a good story. Don't get me like. I did a video recommending it, so it's good. I like. It's just because of my attention span, I struggle to. That's more of a me problem, but it is a good story. I would recommend it to anyone who hasn't tried it out yet. Like, it's reminiscent of the pulps, which I like because it reminds me of stuff like Cull and Solomon Kane. Only it's about a thief.
Okay. I still have yet to watch Solomon Kane.
Oh, it's a decent movie, a good one. It has a shitty reputation though, from what I hear. And it's all based on like these pulp books. Like if you haven't checked out the Savage Tales of Solomon Kane, check them out. They're good.
Yeah, I haven't followed any of those comics.
Oh no, these are books, not comics.
Oh, okay, they're books. Okay. Yeah, I haven't checked out any of them. I thought they were comics. To show you how much I know.
Actually, no. Some of the pulp stories have been made into comics.
Yeah, I what I know of Solomon Kane is in one of my role play chat rooms. There used to be a guy who'd role play as Solomon Kane, and he was cringe, very cringe.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, that sucks. That's a shame.
yeah. I actually made a meme because again, we used to make fun of him, me and my friends, because he would take like these really odd face claims for characters. So I decided, as a meme for one of his face claims, I was like, all right, what if, hear me out, Anthony Hopkins as Superman? And it's like young Anthony Hopkins, not old Anthony Hopkins, young Anthony Hopkins. And it's like all my friends are like, that is such an odd mix and mash. No, just stop. No. And I'm like, that's the equivalent of fan casting this guy would do. It's like just an actor and a character where you're just like, no, there's no.
Wow.
But yeah, I'm told that Solomon Kane is very savage, very well done. And so it's like, okay, that's I mean, I hear that from Razor Fist, and Razor Fist and I don't exactly agree on in terms of like culture and what we like. Because yeah, I still feel betrayed. I still feel betrayed over Accept. He's like, Balls to the Walls is a fantastic album. Only one song on that entire album is good, and that's Balls to the Walls. So I'm sort of like, I feel betrayed.
Yeah. Solomon Kane's good. It's hard for me to understand some of what's being said because it's using archaic words, but I recommend giving it a shot. I'm still reading I'm still on the fourth story, but it's pretty decent, I think. But that's just me.
Okay.
But yeah, Resmus did. I think the second book should be coming out here soon, so I need to finish reading the first book. I'm halfway through it, and it's really short.
Well, like I said, I'm gonna read the ISOM, and I'll let you know if it's worth.
One second, hang on. Okay, hey guys, I think I gotta go.
All right, Pally.
All right, see y'all around.
Yep, later.
All right. That's fun, really.